the YT started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are looking for Trump supporters to come on up, please. Anybody that supports him or voted for him, anything along those lines. Make sure you guys help share out the live. Just make sure you don't spam share it, please. Hello, Buzzy. Medium time no see. I won't say long time no see, but medium time, you know. Hello, John. How are you doing? So grateful. Let's do the headphones. Okay. No, come on, don't be dead. There's no way this is dead. Come on. No fucking way. There's no way this is dead. That's wild. That's just insane. Oh, we have another one. That's what I got two for, right? I suppose. Vance, you're saying liberals hate? All right, man. Well, come on up. Talk about it. Talk about your feelings. Sounds like you need to talk about them, anyways. I would suggest you talk about your feelings. Oh, you know what? I haven't charged this goddamn thing in a while. Fuck me. That's probably why. Ugh, gosh. Too many things need to be charged. Alright. I'm gonna have to let that charge and just use this in the meantime. Alright, tap, 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 tap. Tappity, tappity, tap, tap, tap. And if you do disagree with the background, come on up, please. I don't know why T is working. It seems to be loading on my end, so I don't know what's up with that. Hold on, I gotta text somebody about the Wi-Fi, actually. Where is it? Where is it? Does MAGA hate or is it assumed? It's based on the policies that they vote for. None of it is assumed. All right. Sorry, guys. I was just Texting somebody. So yeah, if you disagree with the background, come on up, hit the request button. Why is there no ID? There is. I don't know why you guys are allowing yourself to be lied to. You guys should have a lot more respect for your own selves so you don't just get lied to. Like, that's got to be shitty just to constantly get lied to and just not have any self-respect to say, hey, stop lying to me, the person I voted for. I don't know. I mean, to give out this impression that there's no IDs required to vote currently is just fucking crazy. Where is that the case? Tell me anywhere within the U.S. in which your identification doesn't need to be verified uh, prior and up to the voting process. Tell me where that happens. I just want widespread instances of this happening. Well, Randy, they can't do that. Yeah, exactly. If you are registered, you have already been identified and been identified as a U.S. citizen who has the legal right to vote. I don't know if some of you guys on the right know this, but you need identification to register. You can't just register by saying, "Hey, I'm a U.S. citizen. Look at me." That's I don't. I think it's a few cases, John. I think in most cases, the average Trump supporter doesn't know they're being lied to. I think they truly do believe it. Yeah, I don't think your average Trump supporter is sitting there, hey, like saying like, hey, I know the truth is other than this. I just like being told otherwise. I'm not sure that's it. I think they firmly believe all the things that are told to them, which makes it hard to actually convince them otherwise because I think they do believe it is reality. As the old quote goes, I'm not going to be able to say it word for word. I'm going to butcher it, but it's easy to convince someone of a lie, but it's a lot harder to convince them that they've been lied to. So, never been asked for ID when I vote. I did that when I register. Well, exactly. That's my point, Ron. That's my entire point. It's just not needed, or not that it's not needed. It's just it's just a non-issue. That's the point. It's a non-issue. They're making a problem. They're trying to provide a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. In reality, making said problem worse. Like what they're doing isn't going to minimize the very, very minuscule amount of fraud that we see within our elections. Chris, you're gonna have to provide evidence for that. I don't take anecdotes. Okay, you have every reason to lie. Take no offense to that. You have every reason to lie and make that up. If you can provide evidence that your mom, her vote went towards Biden, I'll pay you a lot of money. But I have a feeling that doesn't exist because you wouldn't be here otherwise. Your evidence would have went for the courts, towards the courts, at least with Trump. So yeah, I don't think that's a thing that happens, man. Like, Chris, explain to me how that worked. Explain to me how your mom, who passed 15 years ago, and I'm sorry that happened, how she passed 15 years ago, and how her vote went towards Biden. I just want to know how that happened. But here's the deal, Chris. There has been numerous um, audits, numerous audits of that election that you're almost like that you're referring to. There just wasn't fraud, and the very very small amount of fraud that they found actually was in the other way. It was in the other direction. This isn't me to say that people on the right commit voter fraud at any higher race or whatever. I'm just saying that they found more votes for Biden when they did these audits. So these are independent auditors, by the way. These aren't, Biden auditors, and even Trump picked what was it, Ninja audit thing? I forget what they were called. It's like he picked them, so like at what time do you just at what point do you just say, hey, like maybe we lost the election? Like, do you really want to keep sounding like that kid who can never admit that he lost a video game or a game? I don't know. You're playing basketball at school. Like it's just ridiculous. It sounds really petty and pathetic. Anyone that still just can't admit, like, hey, he lost. It happens. People lose in elections. Shit, Harris lost. But I'm not going around claiming the entire thing was rigged and blah blah blah. I'm just not doing that. Remember when Trump's cabinet said over tests that they would deny the results and claim they won? Uh, yeah, Corey, if you're referring to what they said they will do in this coming election, um, yeah, I'm really scared for what can happen because I do think, for example, in midterms, if they lose, I mean, they'll almost certainly lose the House. That's almost positive at this point, but they just may not um, swear them in for a while. Like I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, especially when we're talking about the national election in 2028. Yeah, I think they're absolutely going to not only try to attempt what they did in 2020, but I think more successfully they'll be able to because they're going to have a vice president that's going to do the thing that Trump wants him to do instead of not doing the thing that he legally shouldn't have done and couldn't have done. A called what election? Cognitive. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm just talking about stuff. Hey, what's up, Polly? How are you? What's up, Polly?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was. I didn't mean to join in. You
You're
can
okay.
take me off. I
I'll
don't
bring
have
you
much
in.
to say.
Take care. All right. Hello, Caitlin. Tell me about fecal incontinence in your computer. Yeah, I mean, if that's something you're interested in, there's Google. You can look up stuff about that if that's something that you like. Words are words and fair. You calling the midterms like they called the 2024 election? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, cognitive. If you're trying to say something to me, just I don't know, use like words that make sense. Like I don't know, write something that people can comprehend. Um, I'm not calling any election. This is just me saying what I think potentially can happen in midterms. That's it. I'm not doing anything any other human hasn't done for any other election. Do I think ICE will be at the polls? I mean, they said they would do something like that, so I would be surprised if they weren't. And if you again voted for Trump, please hit the request button there at the bottom of the screen, or if you're on the tube, go ahead and call in the number. I will. I'll go into Google Voice because I don't think the number comes up otherwise. I'm not too sure though. Well, let's go to it. All right. Well, again, yeah, people on the tube, you can call in. You can see one of my mods in the chat post the phone number, so you can go ahead and call that if you want. Okay. All right. Back to YouTube though. You vote by mail. That yeah. Speaking of the mail, guys, I do want to. Let me find this. There was some sort of court case in regards to USPS and the mail. Give me one second. Court case. Okay, so here we go, guys. This is important to know. This is weird. This is weird that the Supreme Court said this. Supreme Court ruled the Postal Service cannot be sued even when mail is intentionally not delivered. I'll read that again once it soaks in. I'll read it again. I would love for anyone to justify this bullshit. Let's read it again. Supreme Court rules the Postal Service cannot be sued even when mail is intentionally not delivered. Fucking insane, right? Like absolutely insane. Hey, what's that, Debo?
Oh, what's going on, Doug?
Not much. How old are you?
I am 45.
Cool. What is up? What do you disagree with?
I was more or less curious about, is this a new postal service policy, or has this been in place for a while, or what?
Yeah, look, I can pull it up here. Based on that alone, I realize it's just a title. I mean, is that something that you would agree with, or think would be a fair ruling?
I mean, that's a pretty odd.
Yeah, I mean, I think we
It's
all can
weird.
agree. It's yeah. Whatever your reviews are, I would like to think your average person would think that's. Maybe there's more to it. Let's look it up.
Yeah,
I would.
yeah. It sounds kind of baity, a little bit, right? A little
Yeah,
clickbaity.
so this is from AP, and AP is very good. I don't know if you
Meh.
look at it. I think they're good. I think they are generally in the middle when it comes to stuff, and I think they're not like intentionally biased in one direction. But regardless,
Well,
let's read
how
through it.
many? I think AP has a 87-10 as far as Republican to Democrat leaning as far as reporting goes. So I don't know how there isn't some sort of biases there,
I
but
use
that's
media
just
bias. I use media bias fact check in terms of. What do you mean?
right.
What do you mean? 87.
I think it was the New York Times came out with an article. I'm not sure when it was, but they kind of went through all of like the. I mean, and it's not like New York Times is really unbiased, so to speak. But it went through and they kind of asked all of these larger corporate media
Mm-hmm.
companies, like, which way do your reporters and journal, what do they lean? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
AP was the harder leaning left. And I mean, to
Well, how did
me,
they? How did they go about determining that? I'm curious.
I mean, I think it was a article from like 2022. My
Okay.
one of my cousins was telling me about it not too
What do you
long
mean by
ago, but
87-10 though? Like what does that
they're
mean?
87% Democrat and 10% Republican, 3% Independent
Uh, what do you
as far as voting, like the way they vote.
well AP is just a news article like they don't vote. Uh,
No, but the reporters or the journalists, the
oh,
way they
okay.
lean politically would
But
be dem. I mean, I don't understand
maybe,
how
maybe
this
not. I
is
don't
a
know. But I think what's more important is how the articles come about, right? And when we look at media bias
sure.
fact check, and we can look at other ones. So, like, I can even show you CNN here. They do put them a little to the left of least biased, if you can see it here on the screen. I mean,
I
I would
can.
I would never deny that they are slightly to the left, but they are very factual in their reporting. And yes, I think they have a left center bias. But just to show you that this site itself is not biased and showing that they are mostly factual, let's put MSNBC up here just to show you that like they will say the same shit
Yeah,
about
I
them.
mean,
Yeah,
I
just,
think
just just to give the
I think the
validity
only I
that I
think
use.
the Hill. I mean, the Guardian's not like they claim to be center
The
leftists
hell's
as
decent.
well, and
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind the hell. I think they're pretty decent.
I'm saying the Guardian, on the same website you're using, they claim
I'll pull it up.
the Guardian to be center leftist.
I'll pull up the Guardian. So MSN, I guess they're called MSN now. They put them as pretty goddamn left, and factual reporting is mixed, right? So like
They
what
should
I'm
be
saying.
off the scale.
Well, I wouldn't say off the scale. I mean, they're much further. They're
Rachel
mainstream.
Maddow is Rachel Maddow is a fucking basket case. Sure,
But off the scale would be pushing like communist and social and like socialistic
she's
type policies, which they
she's
don't
pretty
do.
socialist.
But
She's pretty
they're
socialist.
pro capitalism. The entire
I mean, the
station is pro
network
capitalism.
themselves, but the their talking heads are fucking lunatics. They
I've
should
never
be in
heard them.
a
I've never heard them
psych
talk.
ward.
Okay, well, I mean, I can say the same thing about Newsmax or anything like that. But, anyways,
I don't even know a Newsmax reporter. You can name one. I think maybe the Navy guy would be the only guy I think is pretty fair. I wouldn't say that
Okay.
he's right leaning. Obviously, he's on Newsmax. But
Yeah.
yes, this is the problem with our corporate news, right? They're there to push whatever narrative or propaganda they're being told to push. That's a
Yeah,
political.
and I think there are better news sources that we can read, watch, listen to, etc., than others, right? I would always tell
Yeah,
people to stay away from anything mainstream, whether that be Fox, CNN, MSNL,
I agree.
anything mainstream. I think you should probably stay away from.
Yeah,
I think you'd be better off looking at other things that aren't quite as mainstream. Anyways, I do want to look at this. This is my first time reading through this. We can look through this together.
sure,
The Supreme
sure.
Court thing. So, a divided Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled that Americans can't sue the U.S. Postal Service even when employees deliberately refuse to deliver mail. It says a 5-4 vote. God, that was close. The justices ruled against a Texas landlord who alleges her mail was intentionally withheld for 2 years, claims
Ooh.
racial prejudice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other details I can specifically find here that would kind of make this say not what
Yeah,
what we think it says, you know?
I think, and that's kind of the issue with okay, Supreme Court says so and so, and they could kind of, and to me, if they're really trying to get down to the nitty gritty of what they're doing, is maybe put a paragraph of the dissent or the opinion or whatever to kind of emulate what the court's kind of findings were, who the judges were. I mean, this would take maybe a short paragraph to do. Obviously, you could do it very quick and sweet, but like this is like the snippet of like, oh, hey, this was implemented under this administration for this reason. This is the ruling. These are the judge's opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to take too long, but like they if you're going to report on something, why not report some of the facts of the findings or the reason as to why? That's why I don't think that this is like a genuinely
But
we're trying to report on today's current events
but
article. That's
what
that's
are
what
they
I'm.
saying that's so swayed in a biased direction? I mean, they're simply just saying the court case. What happened?
No, I'm saying if they're trying to be honest about journalisming, that they should emulate that portion of what they're journalisming about, right? Instead of this, oh well, they're making I would hope you would get the gist without
Okay.
going on a
Well,
rant.
okay. Well, all right. Well, that aside, don't you think this ruling it can be very problematic? Can you
Oh yeah.
don't you think it can lead to potentially not good things if they cannot be sued for things like this?
Yeah, and I would advocate that that is the reason that we should have a private sector. I mean, we already do. UPS, FedEx, they're far superior in order to get your package either on time or have accountability, or if they don't deliver it, then there's some sort of accountability because they're private sector. And if
Right.
they're not
But
delivering your shit, then it's like, oh, well, you owe me some money because I
but
had
we're
some
talking
shit
about
get
mail on vote.
packaged.
But right. But we're talking in regards to like voting here,
Oh,
which
this
is going to be.
see, I was just worried. You were talking about a lady that her landlord was holding money. I had no idea that this had anything to do with
Well, no, no, no,
mail-in
no, no, no.
voting.
This case wasn't. I'm just saying it could be leveraged in that direction. In that, if they can't be sued,
Yeah.
they potentially, if Trump really wanted
Do
to,
you
can
think? Do you
potentially
think
tell them to
if?
not deliver certain things, and nothing would happen.
Quick,
Do
quick
you
pause. Quick
think?
pause. Quick pause. Quick
Yeah, what's
Oh,
up,
pause.
Vic?
sure. Welcome to the panel.
Do you know why currently UPS and FedEx are so much better than the USPS?
Well, that wasn't my claim. I was using a
No, no,
hypothetical, but
you
sure,
you
go ahead
said
and,
they you
and
said we
enlighten
have the
me.
private sector. You said we have the private sector and they're better than the USPS. They get your stuff to you on time. That's what you said.
Yeah. So why are they better?
Because under the previous Trump administration, the United States Postal Service was gutted.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, so it had nothing to do with. I mean, it's cheaper, but so this is the problem. How can the private sector compete with the government agency that forces the private sector to not be able to deliver mail? Like, how could someone compete with that?
How can they compete with the USPS when the USPS was gutted under the previous Trump administration?
If you're gonna ask me a question by asking me the same question I just asked you, I don't know how we're gonna get anywhere.
This isn't the same question you just asked me.
Well, then answer my question, not with a question.
You
Well,
I am. How can
But
the
I asked you a
government,
question, and now you're asking me a question.
they can't, except the government that was
Why are you
delivering
yelling, dude? You
mail
just got
was
here and you're already
gutted.
triggered?
One,
This didn't take very long.
you don't know what the word triggered means. Number one.
Well, you're
Number,
defining it right now.
I'm not defining it. Number
Sure.
one.
You're yelling. You've been
Number,
on the panel for 30 seconds.
can you stop interrupting me and then maybe I'll stop yelling?
Oh, isn't it fun to be interrupted mid-sentence?
I'm not interrupting you.
You interrupted me right as you got on the panel, my
All
guy.
right, all right, we can move on from that.
Jesus Christ. The government, they shouldn't be able to compete with the government. You're right. You said, how can the private sector compete with the government? Except the government system that was responsible for delivering your mail was gutted under the previous Trump administration, which is why FedEx and UPS and so many other private sector organizations are much faster than the United States Postal Service.
And from in what context? So you're saying from 2019 or 2018, from the Trump's first administration, first term, excuse me,
Hmm.
he therefore gave the ability for these. I believe FedEx made 44 billion in 2023 or 2024. The U.S. Post Office does not make. I don't think has made a profit for I don't know ever. And then you're telling
Why
me
would they
because
make a
of. So are you
profit?
going to let me finish? Are you going to let me finish?
Why would they
Are
make a
you going to let me finish? Are
profit?
you going to interrupt me again? I mean,
Well,
Why
because
well,
if
would
hold
they
so,
on.
make
this
a
isn't.
profit?
Are you,
Are
hold
you
on,
going to let me finish?
guest? Are you just denying that there were a lot of things cut from
No, no,
USPS
no,
during
no,
his
no,
first term?
no. So if he would have let me finish, you could have kind of figured out where I'm going with this. But so if the U.S. Post Office has never made a profit, and in 20, I believe 20,
Why would they
dude,
make a profit?
you're saying
Would
that they shouldn't make a profit because they're a
It's
government agency?
not for profit.
The post office? Wait, so the government doesn't make any money anywhere in any agency?
The Oh my god.
I'm just asking questions while you're asking me a question in the middle of my sentence. So go ahead. I'm just trying to figure out where you're going with this, dude. So because is it because the post office is supposedly a nonprofit? They shouldn't make a profit? I don't know what you're asking me.
well, they don't. That's what he's trying to get at.
They don't
Oh
what?
my god.
Like that,
Why are you,
I mean, this is not here. I mean, you can just look. This is just an easy thing to look up, right? I'll show you right here, right? So if you look
no,
over
I'm
here,
asking so why should the post office not turn a profit?
well,
Because
I'm just
that's not what they're designed to do.
right. So I
So
just
they should just always operate and lose money to
They
deliver
that's
don't.
mail.
not it.
Is
So
They
that
self-fund.
So, so can we read the
what?
AI? I'm generally not a huge fan of AI stuff, but since this is a basic thing, it
Sure.
gives a basic answer. So, USPS does not generally make money for the government, nor is it funded by taxpayers. It's
Uh-huh.
self-sustaining. It funds operations through postage, service fees, etc.
Hmm.
So, it's not something that makes. That's not the purpose of it, right? And that's
So
what he's trying
right,
to get
it's
at.
to deliver. Their purpose is to deliver mail, right? But
Sure.
you have a private sector that does deliver maybe not mail, but let's call it freight or packages, and then you have the U.S. government that delivers mail. They do it both in the same capacity. They both use airplanes
Mm-hmm.
and cars. Dude, come on, man. Let's just chill out a little bit. So
Says the person who was throwing a fit because they didn't understand the question
I
I was asking them.
I'm not, dude. I've been very monotone this entirety of this conversation. You should try to
And mono brain cells.
take
Guys, keep
some
tapping the
notes on
screen.
how to
Keep
be an
tapping the
adult.
screen. Let's
Just take some notes on how to be an adult and have a
let's try to get to
conversation and not
20,000
interrupt me.
likes, guys. Keep tapping. All right, we
So
are like
Oh,
pros.
so
you don't like it when you're interrupted?
I haven't
You don't like it
interrupted
when
you
you're
yet.
interrupted?
You've done it 3 times, and
You
I've
don't like it when
allowed
you're
you to
interrupted?
interrupt me. So, dude,
My
come on,
guy,
man.
you
Come on.
literally just said a
Your
moment
guy.
ago,
I'm not your
you
guy.
don't like
I'm
it
not
when
your
you're being
guy.
interrupted in the middle of one of my sentences. The irony
Okay,
here is
so
insane.
the dude, you weren't talking, dude. Come on, man. Now you're just being fucking lame as shit. So the point is that the mail is still delivered by the same way that the private sector and the government does it. I would argue the reason that the post office doesn't make money, one of them would be, is A, they don't charge enough for a stamp, and B, they have to deliver mail into rural areas, and they must have a post office in every city. That is by
They're
federal.
not designed
Dude, can
to
you shut the
make
fuck up for fucking 10 more
money.
seconds and I'll finish?
Making
okay,
It's
can
not
a
the point. That's not
profit
the point
is
I'm making. I'm
not
never
all right.
the
alleged that they should
goal.
make money, dude.
Okay,
You
but
Relax.
can
did.
we
You
get back?
literally just
Do
did.
you mind if we get back to the larger point of that Supreme
If you
Court
want to
ruling?
drop this guy, we can, because I don't feel like we're going to get there with him
But
here.
I want to talk about that Supreme Court ruling that I think is very
I
problematic.
agree. He's the one that sidelined the conversation. So I would love the same.
I
We can
came up here to
still,
talk about a point you were making.
yeah,
I guess I
it
didn't hear
was
me
just a
there.
point.
Digress.
That's it, right? So yeah, do you want to talk about? I mean, we could. I'd
Sure, go
imagine you
ahead.
came up to
Yeah.
talk about something else, but yeah, but don't you think that this can be leveraged in such a way that they can then start purposely? Not saying Trump will or won't. I don't know, but don't you think
Hmm.
that's something that he
Right.
can do if you wanted to do? Is have certain mail not be delivered to areas that are predominantly Democrat voters, registered voters, and no repercussion.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. It could happen, sure.
Okay. Um, did you vote for him in this last election? I assume,
I
or
voted for Trump 3 times.
What is, just out of curiosity, what's to stop the next, so like let's say 2028 election rolls around, and because of this ruling, right, the next president who comes in is just, I don't know, Mecca AOC with Vice President Turbo Biden, and they decide, you know
Turbo
what,
Biden?
actually,
he's
we're going to
joking.
do the same thing and not allow these things to go to Republican areas.
Well, I mean, we could sit and live in hypotheticals
No,
all day long
this
and we
isn't a
would never get
hypothetical.
anywhere.
Well, this is
This
a
isn't a
Sure.
Supreme Court
hypothetical.
ruling.
Wait,
The
wait, you're
groundwork has
talking
now been
about
laid.
2028. How is that
The
not a
groundwork has now
hypothetical,
been
dude?
laid. The
How is that
groundwork has
not a
now been laid.
hypothetical?
The groundwork has now
Okay.
been laid. Is this
Okay.
not problematic? It's a legitimate thing that may happen now.
You know
I
what?
think
If you want to live and operate in that fantasy land, dude, by all
it's not a
means,
fantasy
drive
land.
yourself
But hold
crazy.
on.
Sure
But
it is.
I think what we're getting at is that Trump and his administration is trying to do things to make it harder for Democrats to vote. Right? When we're talking about the SAVE Act, right? I mean, we can talk about that if you want.
Dude, that's such a stupid talking point. 81% of Democrats even agree that you should have an ID to vote.
Hold on. You already need identification in order to be able to vote. That's
To
already a thing.
register to vote, yes, you do. But
Sure.
when you go to the ballot
What
box,
else?
you
Wait,
don't.
wait.
So
What else do you need to? What else do you need to be to register to vote?
It depends on what election it
No, 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 no,
is.
no, 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 no. What else do you need to be able to register to vote? We're only ever talking about federal elections here,
let's
my
just
guy.
talk about that.
You guys don't
Okay, well,
care.
I'm just,
You don't care about
I
state
mean,
level
with you, I
elections
never know
in
which way the
Texas.
All right.
conversation's
All right.
going to
You
go.
Just
So I'm just
don't
making sure we're on the same
you
page.
don't care about who's currently running for comptroller here in Texas. So what else do you have to be in order to register for a federal election?
A U.S. citizen.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. I guess we've already solved that problem then.
so then why is this necessary then, given that you already have to be a U.S. citizen in order to register, thus to vote? And
So
we
are
don't.
you going to sit here and tell me that nobody that wasn't a U.S. citizen registered to vote?
How many? Okay. Do you have numbers on how many people that
I'm
were
just
not
saying,
U.S. citizens?
are you
Hold
saying
on,
it's
hold on,
zero?
hold on,
That's what
hold
I
on.
said.
And I'm asking you, do you have numbers on the amount of people that were not U.S. citizens that registered
Will
to
you
vote?
answer my question first? Because you like to do this. So I'm just
I
wondering.
can't
I'll
prove a
engage with yours
negative.
if you'll engage with
Hey guys,
mine.
I
keep tapping
can't
and
prove a
sharing.
negative.
Hold on. Let me see if
I
I can
can't
bring
prove
up
a
another.
negative.
Let me see if I can
Wait,
bring up another
wait.
guest to help out because I would like. Are you a Trump supporter, JB?
Hey, sorry, no, I'm not a Trump supporter.
You're not. Okay, let me go ahead and bring you down.
I
Okay.
mean, you couldn't tell by that
Uh,
profile picture, dude?
well, you never know, man. Sometimes
I,
people have weird,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay,
sure.
good
Guys,
point.
All right.
if you're a Trump
Gotcha.
Actually,
supporter, come on up. I'm happy to have like a 2-on-2 thing, or like if you're a Trump supporter, come up. All right.
I'm
Good.
fine by myself.
I'm not
This
trying
okay,
is
to.
like
I
work
DB,
to
don't. I don't
me.
mean it like that.
I
I just
appreciate that.
sometimes I like
Fair,
to have
fair,
group combos. Yeah.
DB,
fair.
yes, zero non-American citizens registered to vote last year.
No, that wasn't my question. I said, are you
No, yeah.
telling me? Okay, I'll reiterate
I
it
said
again
no.
because your memory
Yeah,
is
none.
short.
None.
I
No
said,
non-U.S.
are
citizens registered.
you
Yep.
going to tell me that not one single non-American registered to vote in a federal election in the 2024?
Yep. Prove me wrong.
I'm not. No, I believe you. If that's your opinion, fine. Okay, that
So,
works. That was
wait.
simple.
So you just, so then you don't, so
I
then
was
we don't
just
need the SAVE
asking you
Act.
a
Thanks for
question. It
conceding.
wasn't hypothetical. It was an
Thanks.
honest question.
Then we don't need the SAVE Act. Thank you for conceding that it's a waste of taxpayer dollars.
I don't think that it's a waste of taxpayer dollars to
Well,
make
if
sure. Dude, come
non-U.S.
on, man, knock
citizens
it
aren't
off.
registering to
Fucking,
vote,
you've got to quit interrupting,
okay.
dude. I'm not interrupting you.
Okay. Are you aware of the criticisms of the SAVE Act?
Which one?
oh, buddy.
Like
Oh,
one of the
buddy.
main criticisms.
I'm asking you to be specific. There's several issues, so I'm asking
Okay,
which
well,
one you're
we've
talking
already
about.
spoken about one of them, how it's just redundant. But what's one of the other criticisms that would occur if it were to go through? I just want to see if you have a good understanding of that.
I think I support the SAVE Act in its entirety. I don't have an issue with it, so you'd
No,
have
no,
to
no.
tell
I'm
me
acting.
that.
I'm acting. Are you aware of one of the major criticisms, rather, of the
No,
SAVE Act?
I
Okay.
would really like it that if we had American citizens only vote in their country. I think every country.
The,
There have not been that
I
many
think
people that have
every
voted
okay.
and been U.S.
country
citizens.
Okay.
should only have their own citizens voting in their elections.
Okay, but that's not that's not the problem. The problem is, right, the documentation one would need in order to vote makes it a lot harder to vote, right? So, like for example, women, right,
Hmm.
when many get married, they change their last name. The documentation that they would need to be able to register a vote, it makes it a lot more difficult, is what I'm trying to say. And a
In
lot of
what
people,
fashion? Like what is the hindrance here?
So do you know it's actually going to impact Republicans more than it will
it
impact
would,
anybody else,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It
because
will.
there's more
No, no, no,
Republican
no, no,
married
no,
women. I
no,
would agree.
no,
Yeah, because
no, no, no.
Democrats
That's
are
not
not
why.
getting married.
You literally just threw a fit about interrupting. Stop interrupting. I'm trying to explain this to you. Holy shit.
Fucking crash out
Because
is real
the
with this guy.
majority of people in the United States that possess passports are on the left. They are in predominantly left leaning states. That is why it would impact Republicans more than anybody else, because the majority of passports held in this country are held in states that vote blue. Moreover, we can look at this as the number of people that change their last names, much to what you said. Yes, categorically, Republican women are far more likely to change their last name than women on the left. Women on the left, far less likely to get married because they are just far less likely to get married because
Why?
they enter into a variety. I'm literally still speaking. Stop
Let
interrupting
him
me.
finish and you can go,
Into
I
a
promise.
into a variety of other kinds of relationships, whether they be civil relationships, whatever, doesn't matter. But also, the other group of people that this is going to impact at an inordinate level is the military, because it requires service members to register to vote in their state of residency. And I don't know if you understand how the military works, but you don't always have to live in your state of residency.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my listed state of residency was Florida while I was living in Georgia, while I was living in Colorado, and while I was living in Texas. And my state of residency, my address was a Walmart in Jacksonville because I wanted to avoid state taxes. I've literally never lived in Florida. This would mean that I would have to go to Florida every single fucking year and register to vote. And that's just not feasible. So we are targeting married women, predominantly Republican women. We're attacking people without passports, predominantly Republicans, and we're attacking military. So those are just some of the ways in which the SAVE Act is going to fuck over Americans.
So can you show me in the SAVE Act where it says you can only use a passport as a form of ID to register to vote?
No, I did not say that you could only use a
I'm
passport.
I'm just I'm just trying to ask you a question. I
Why would I
didn't
show
say
you
But that's not what he
something?
said, though.
can
Why
That's
I.
would
not
I
what he
show you
said.
something that does
I'm
not support a
not.
claim that I
I'm
made?
hold on. If you allow, like, dude, just work
I'm not
on it a
going to
little
show you
bit more.
that because that is not
Right.
something that I
So then
said that
why
you
are you
needed.
saying? Then why are you saying this
Here is why.
demographic?
Here is why.
Dude,
Because I'm going
relax.
to
Let me
explain. I'm
finish
going to
the
explain it to
question,
you.
dude, before
No,
you
I already know what
fucking
your
freak
question is.
out.
I already know what your
Oh,
question
sure.
is.
What is it? Go
Yes, I
ahead.
do. Because
What's
you're
the
asking, well,
question?
then why
No.
did you
Say
bring
the
up
question
passports?
first.
I don't need to. Because
Houdini,
the
say the
people,
question first, since
I
you
don't
can
need
read my
to.
mind.
Because married women would need to be able to
Houdini done it.
prove who they are.
Where'd you go?
Their birth certificates are not going to match their marriage licenses. Their marriage licenses are not going to match their IDs. They're not like this shit's just not going to fucking line up because their names are different.
Does that make sense? And so the documentation of one would need for that makes it very complex, and many of them wouldn't be aware of that until it's too late. Because to get that documentation, number one, costs money, right? So that'd be considered a poll tax, and two, it takes time.
Are you gonna? If you're gonna mute me, this is a waste of time. When he's
I
talking over me, and you've muted him,
I
this is the second
didn't
time.
mute. I don't know
Right, I'm
who else
talking to
was jumping.
him. If you're
Okay.
gonna,
I'm not muting you.
well, somebody is.
So just check this out on screen. So 9% of all eligible voters do not have or do not have easy access to documentary proof of citizenship. That's a little wild. 52% of registered voters do not have an unexpired passport with their current legal name. 11% of registered voters don't have access to their birth certificate. The point of this is it's making it unnecessarily difficult for a problem that doesn't exist, given the rate of these things happening is incredibly low. Non-U.S. citizens trying to register to vote, we're looking at 0.04% right there.
It's also
Okay.
effectively
But
a
those
poll
votes don't even
tax.
go through. I want to make that.
Fuck, here we go on the poll tax shenanigans.
Well,
It is.
but you think we shouldn't have a poll tax, right? I mean, per the Constitution.
So hold on. Let me just engage with this real fast. So
Okay.
you're saying that by only Democrat women or people have this massive overage of passports that no
That's not
no
what I
other
said.
This is not Demo. I'm not saying Democrat. Again, as he
That's
said, this would
also
apply
not
to
what I said.
Republicans. What we're trying
Okay,
to
let me
say is
finish.
that it's
Since you didn't read, hold on. Since you didn't read my mind, now let me actually ask you the question I'm trying to ask. Okay, is that fair? Can
Except
you allow
I
me to do that?
didn't. You are saying that I made a claim that I did not make.
Okay, so you said that this is going to affect Republican women
Mm-hmm.
more than Democrat women because they have a passport. Is that
No.
wrong or right?
And that is
no.
you are conflating what I said. I said the
Ha!
majority. I'm explaining to you because what I said about passports is the vast majority of passports belong to people that live in blue states in areas that predominantly vote
You are
blue.
strawmanning the fuck out of what I am
This is
saying.
not what a straw man's. This is not what a straw man is.
That
Number
is
one.
not. He's just saying his own
Number
argument. That
two,
can't be a straw man.
I'm reiterating what I said. This is not a straw man. You don't know what a straw man is.
Okay.
I said the vast majority of passports in the United States are predominantly in states that vote blue. It is also much more likely for you to have a passport and also be on the left than it is for you to have a passport and be on the right.
So, okay, if that's your stance, show me in the Save Act where it is only saying that a passport, since this is your barrier to entry to go register to vote, show me.
You are also not understanding what I said because I never said anything about a passport being the only viable form of identification.
Okay, so then why are you using that metric? Now I'm making you say what I've been trying to ask you.
Sure. So if
Good job.
Let's say you and I are married, and my name is John
Never
Doe,
would happen.
and your name is Jane Doe, but your maiden name is Jane Douglas. Your birth certificate says Jane Douglas, but your passport and your driver's license says Jane Doe. Can you vote?
I don't know. Could you? But then why are you saying that you need so none of
your
these
documentation here doesn't match. I have a passport, you don't. Your driver's license, listen. Your driver's license, Jane Doe. Your birth certificate, Jane Douglas. Can you vote?
So I would say
yes
no,
or
but
no?
in this I said no.
You cannot.
Okay.
You
no.
can't.
So in this hypothetical,
you can't vote.
hold on.
You can't vote.
Okay,
You
I
can't
said
vote.
no.
Yeah.
Now I'm asking you. Therefore, if that is the case, and a passport is not the only way you can register to vote,
Well, no.
why are you
Now
using
you can get.
only this?
Oh my
So
God.
so
Why
my
is it only the that's why I'm
God.
asking you. Why are you only using the
Sure.
passport?
So real IDs. You know what a real ID is?
Yeah, it's the one that
Are
has the
real
star
are
on it.
real
Yeah.
IDs are real
Right.
IDs
Yeah.
a viable way to prove that you're a U.S. citizen?
Uh, yes, it should be.
Nope.
That's the whole
Nope. Nope.
the reason
Nope.
they implemented it.
Nuh-uh. They are not. There are only 6 states in the United States of America where on your real ID, your state of birth is listed, which means that just because you have a real ID doesn't mean that you are a U.S. citizen. You can be a green card holder and have a real ID. All a real ID is that the federal government is aware of your existence.
So therefore, the federal government in voting in a federal election
If
would
your
know.
ID
Hold, no,
does
no, no,
not
no, no.
list, no,
And then
because
if
no, because
then they
no,
would know
no,
if you're a federal or
no,
if you're a citizen of the
no,
United States,
because
right?
the SAVE Act requires your ID to list your place of birth.
It required. Wait a minute. What? Show me that in the bill.
So can I show you something here? So there's
No, he made a
certification.
claim. You must now prove. Go ahead, sir.
Are you but my question is,
You don't even
do you
know what
not
the
know
SAVE
what's
Act
in the
is.
SAVE Act?
I absolutely don't.
Okay, I just want to say, is it your understanding that like it is very easy documentation that one could get? It's a very quick process just to be able to vote, given what would happen in the SAVE Act, and that we're just making this up.
Last time that will happen, and that is the last. So show me, dude. You are really bad at this, by the way, dude. Like you have to show me that you prove to me,
Sure,
prove your claim
absolutely,
in the fucking bill.
absolutely.
Okay,
Oh,
do
sure.
you want a screenshot
I'm
of that?
literally
We can.
doing it, don't worry.
I
can
mean,
show you-
Dougie Doug right here's got your back, and he should be able to just pull
we
that
can
right
show
up for
we can
you
show
since he
you a
does all your
screenshot.
homework.
That's fine. But I do, before we get to that, I do want to show you, because there was a case study in Kansas in regards to this. So there was a case study of how documentary proof requirement would likely play out in practice. So there was a law in Kansas, right, that was sort of similar to. Hold on,
It specifically states. I'm reading
See,
it. I'm
you
reading it.
even
Hold on.
interrupt the host
I'm reading-
too. Wow,
Section
that's.
2A defines
there you
the
go.
valid forms of DPOC that voter
Can
registration.
you show? I gotta see
registration
this. I don't want. I don't know.
You can literally
I don't know
pull
where
it
you're
up.
reading
Section
from.
2A.
Section
Sure.
2A of the SAVE Act defines valid forms of DPOC that voter registration applicants must submit under the SAVE Act. A form of photo identification consistent with the Real ID Act of 2005 that indicates the applicant is a U.S. citizen, and only 6 states do. A valid U.S. passport, a military identification card coupled with a military service record showing the applicant's place of birth was in the United States of America, a valid government-issued photo identification card from a federal, state, or tribal government showing the applicant's place of birth in the United States, a valid photo identification issued by the federal government or tribal government that doesn't comport with the above so long as it is coupled with a certified birth certificate, an extract from the U.S. hospital record of birth showing the applicant's place of birth in the U.S., a final adoption decree showing the place of yada 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 in the United States, a consular report of birth abroad or report of birth of a United States citizen issued by the Secretary of State, naturalization certificate or certificate of citizenship issued by the Secretary of Homeland Security, or an American Indian card issued by the Secretary of Homeland Security with the classification KIC.
So does that help? I know that was a lot, but I mean, I have it here pulled up as well. And Corey,
you're fucking. All right,
Corey,
that's the last one. I told you.
What?
You
You're just
fucking
gonna
mute
leave,
me
man?
again. I'm out. So. Yeah, if
Really?
you guys are going to keep muting me, it's the point of this conversation. I said
we're
it
talking.
twice.
I think we're having a
I
good
said last
conversation. I think we're having a good
I
conversation.
would agree with you. Ask your mods to fucking stop muting me. I'm not interrupting anyone. There's no need to be doing that. Is that fair? Am I not being fair? Is that not a fair request, Doug?
Listen, I agree. If somebody's not interrupting, there's no need for mutes. Okay, I would like to continue the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
but
would
this
too.
will go both ways. Okay, this will go both ways. So you haven't seemed to been
Okay, I
interrupting
can do that.
too much. So okay, all right. So, but anyways, do you acknowledge what Thick said?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see how that would be something that people on the left would be against, then, if that's making it significantly more difficult to vote, or to at least register to vote. Like, what would be the benefit of that? And again, and I do want to read what happened in Kansas, because I was trying to get to that. Whoever's trying to call me, I'm talking right now from YouTube. Okay, it says, before the law took effect before the law took effect, non-citizen registration in Kansas was exceedingly rare, accounting for 0.002% of registered voters. After the adoption, and again, this was a similar thing that happened in Kansas, the documentary proof of citizenship requirement prevented 31,000 eligible citizens, or 12% of them, from registering to vote. So in short, the law prevented far more citizens from registering to vote than non-citizens, which that's the problem that we have. We shouldn't be implementing things that make it harder to vote for citizens. It should be easier, more accessible to vote. That's what we want.
I would agree with you about that. I do think it should be easier to vote.
Right. I mean, if we live in a
Bills
democracy and we live in a quote-unquote free country, it should be very easy to vote. It shouldn't be harder.
Can you look up Sauk City? That's SAUK City, Montana, 2000 and I want to say 12. SAUK City, Montana, 2012. I believe DMVs will probably get you it's probably the proper string. But in Sauk City, I believe it was 2012. It may have been 2014. It was one of those years. The DMV in Sauk City, Montana, which is a red
sure?
state.
I said it doesn't. Well, hold on. Well, anyways, go ahead with what you're saying.
Is it Montana? It's SAUK City. I forget I think it was Montana. It may have been. I forget what state it is. But the DMV was only open. You could Google Sauk City 5th Wednesday. That'll get it for you.
Sauk City 5th Wednesday? Okay.
5th Wednesday.
This is a decade old. I don't understand the relevancy to the SAVE Act
because
of
it is
2026.
relevant. No.
Okay.
This is relevant to voter registration in a writ large.
Okay.
All right, what are we looking at here? Sauk City, Wisconsin ID office that provides notification for owners only open on the 5th Wednesday of every month?
5th Wednesday of every month. You know how many months that year had a 5th Wednesday?
Probably none. One?
Probably
I don't know.
3.
4.
4? Okay.
Which means people in that city could only register to vote 4 days out of the entire
That's fucking wild.
fucking year. And this is it's 2016, excuse me. And this is a red state, right? This is a red fucking state. It's like the people that are like clamoring to make it harder to vote for everybody are people on the right. People on the left are literally like, no, it should be easier for everybody in this fucking country, both on the left and the right, to vote.
I literally just said I agree to make it easier. We should make it easier to vote. And this is the fucking topic you jump to when I'm already agreeing with you? Like, what do you want from me, dude?
Because I'm showing you that it's only fucking Republicans that
I
ever
already
go out of their
fucking
fucking way
agreed
to
that it
make
should
it
be
harder.
easy. I already agreed it should be easy.
Okay.
So that's kind of a weird thing to bring up.
Okay. All right. So you agree with that? Fine. You voted for Trump. You still support him, I would imagine. Why is it that you still support him, given everything that's happening? This thing you disagree with. Why do you support him in general? Let's go in that direction.
So we're done talking about SAVAC. Just want to be clear.
Thick, are you fine? I mean, I think we exhausted it. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in regards to it.
I just don't
Rather watch
understand
things
if you can't use your passport, which more Democrats have, and you still have to only use your birth certificate. I still don't see how this is going to prevent. Yeah, I still don't see how that's going to prevent anyone from voting. That's my only contention.
Jesus.
Your ID, if your ID
What is
says
that?
John Doe, if your
No, we don't need to do that. You
No,
still
no,
have to use
no,
a
no,
birth
no.
certificate.
Correct. Hold on.
Okay.
If your real ID, because I live in Texas, and my real ID does not say that I'm born in North Carolina. If my name is Jane Doe and I live in Texas, and my ID says Jane Doe, but my birth certificate says Jane Douglas, I can't vote.
But so you're saying that, so if you get married, that there's no way that you can go change
Well, now
your
we are
That's
talking
not-
about a poll tax.
Oh my gosh.
Because now I have to pay in order to vote.
But if you have to change your name, you're doing that regardless whether you're voting
Why
or if
should
you're
I
trying.
have to change
Why are
documentation?
you crashing out, dude?
Why should I have to
This
change
is number
the
3 for you. You might need to take a lap and just take a breath.
This is a
and-
poll tax.
Go hit an anxiety pen or
You are
something, dude.
advocating
That might
for
help
a
you.
poll
Well,
tax.
but I think this
No,
is
I'm
a
not
valid.
advocating for shit.
This is a valid
I'm
thing
not
to be
having-
upset over. Okay.
I mean, we're talking about something that's
Is it?
unconstitutional.
Well, you're not very upset.
But hold on, we're talking about something that's I'm going to sit back down for this. We're talking about something that's unconstitutional. There should be some emotion involved in this, no? I would imagine. At least you shouldn't fault somebody for having some strong emotion in regards to something that's clearly unconstitutional.
Excuse me for wearing a fucking uniform and serving in the goddamn military for 14 fucking years of this fucking country, only to want the federal fucking government to respect the Constitution and make constitutional laws. Excuse me for expecting this fucking country to be better than it is purporting to currently fucking be. I apologize that your fucking sensibilities and your inability to understand simple concepts are somehow so hurt that I am upset that this country is failing at supporting the people that live in it, and you fail to grasp simple concepts like this. So if you think that me being emotional because a country that I swore to defend for 14 fucking years is failing to live up to its fucking name, that is on you, and that says more about you than it does about me.
So if we have now that the House has passed
Shut the
it,
actual fuck up.
now that the House has passed it, and then if the Senate passes it and the president signs it into law, is that not our quote unquote democracy working? But because you don't like it, because you don't like it,
wow,
because you don't like it, dude. I just listened to you go on a 3-minute.
It's not about not liking it. It's not about not liking it, dude.
I understand, Doug.
I
understand, Doug.
But you would agree something's unconstitutional. Okay, but it's unconstitutional, and you don't seem to be grasping that. That doesn't seem to be eliciting emotion in you, and it should.
So if it's not constitutional, it'll be challenged. The Supreme Court will make a ruling, and then we can do this all over.
That's
again,
not how that works.
Right?
That's not how that works.
Oh, well then. So then, right, I thank you for that, and I would acknowledge that that's not how it works. My point is that as the government works, if you propose a bill and you put it through committee, and then it passes through Congress, and then it passes through the Senate, that is effectual government operation. That is how the government works.
But then you're advocating.
And you might say it's not constitutional, but
Because
I would
it isn't
disagree that it is.
constitutional.
So, okay, so now we're on to it not being constitutional. Let's go through that. How is it not constitutional?
Because poll taxes are unconstitutional.
Okay, let's take this step by step. Hold on. Can we take this step by step? You agree a poll tax is unconstitutional, right? Can we at least agree on that?
I don't believe that.
I know you don't believe this
is a poll tax.
We'll get to that. I just want to make sure there's an agreement that a poll tax in general is unconstitutional. This topic aside, right?
There's already states that offer you to get a free state ID, issue an ID.
But can you just answer my question? A poll tax in general is unconstitutional, right? I'm not trying to get a gotcha. I just want to make sure we at least agree on that.
Sure, okay. I'll play your.
I promise I'm not trying to get a gotcha.
If I don't have an ID, when I register to vote, right? How else might the federal government prove that I'm a United States citizen? Let's say I don't have a photo ID, I got none of that. How else would the federal government prove that I'm a United? Hold on, there's one thing. How would they prove I'm a United States citizen?
If you don't have an ID at the age of 21,
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. How else might the federal government prove that I'm a United States citizen?
It would be either by a birth certificate. It would be a birth certificate or another form of.
Hold on. Like what is the other form? What's the other form?
I don't know. Would it be Social Security number?
A Social Security number. Dead on. Social Security number. I don't even need a card. I know my Social Security number. If you don't know your Social Security number, you should probably learn it.
I would hope every adult knows it.
I would hope at 14.
Okay.
But I know my number, so the federal government can prove very, very easily that I am a United States citizen with my Social Security number.
Buzzy, hold on. Buzzy, I see your comment. I just can't have too many friendlies up. If Thick drops, I can bring you up. But If I have too friendly is up, it's just going to be too much.
I will drop after this for Buzzy. You don't have to pay. Like, to know your social security number. Like, you got to pay to get a card, sure. Like, I think it's like $5, but whatever. Like, even that, I still don't agree with having to pay to pay to get one of those in order to vote. But I know my social security number. The federal government can prove I'm a United States citizen with my social security number. Therefore, why then do I have to pay if I am a woman in this scenario? And Buzzy can go up and talk about this. Why would I then need to pay to get my birth certificate changed to match a married name after the fact? Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize Social Security cards are free. Excuse me. I've never had to replace one. Like, why then would I have to pay to change my last name in order to vote? This is a poll tax. If I'm literally having to pay money in order to vote, poll tax.
Well, you when you get married, you're like my wife. She didn't, she went to the Social Security office, got her name changed federally. They sent her a new card. She went and got a new ID, and bada bing, bada boom. She could.
Does she have a passport? Does she have a passport?
Nope.
Then she can't. No, she can't. No, she can't. Tell your wife I hope she never wants to vote again.
All right, but thanks, man. Buzzy, before I bring you up, let me just do my quick announcements. If you guys are enjoying the live, sorry if you hear background noise. I'm making something. But make sure you give me a follow. Click the red follow in the top left on TikTok. If you're watching on the tube, click the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. And TikTok, guys, keep tapping. Let's try to get to 50,000 likes. And Buzzy, I'll bring you on up. And if there is a new opposition, I'm welcome to bring you on up to the conversation. That way we have sort of like a panel thing going. So if you do disagree with the background prompt, you voted for Trump, you agree with this guest, come on up. Let's have a great conversation. So far, I think it's going well. Hey, Buzzy.
Hi.
How are you?
So, yeah, I'm good. So my comment in the comment section was just to the fact that men speaking about this is not super helpful, especially when men don't understand the process in the documentation that's needed. It's just not helpful when you're yelling at each other about nothing that has to really do with this topic. So the situation at hand is, first of all of these things take time. There is a waiting period to get your documentation back. And also, I don't know about Social Security cards being free.
I can look that up.
I'm pretty sure you have to pay for something.
It was $5 for my wife when she.
But wouldn't that then be considered a poll tax?
No, because a poll tax is deliberately tied to voting at a said.
So it is deliberately tied to. So here's how it's deliberately tied to voting.
They're free.
And I'm speaking on this.
They're free.
Okay, so they're free now. Okay, they used to not be free. That's why I was wondering.
From a quick search, what I can see. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, I guess that ends this entire argument, then, right?
No, it doesn't.
Well, no.
Oh my god. Oh my God. So there are only, I think it's like 6 states in the United States of America where the real ID includes where you are born. In other states, your real ID does not include that information. To meet the standards of what is required as a part of the SAVE Act, you would need to use stronger documentation like a passport. As it's already been discussed with you many times over, a passport costs money and there is a waiting period for that. Like, documentation takes time. You just stated that you're married, so you know a name change is not an overnight process, nor is it an over a month process.
It was very easy for her to do.
And then the other thing is, upon changing your name, you need to be able, as you just stated, your wife doesn't have a passport. Based on the fact that your wife does not have a passport, if this SAVE Act was to take place, your wife would not be able to vote.
Hold on one second. Tell me. Crustable in the request box. Are you opposition? Please let me know in the request box.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
Oh, yes? Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's bring him up. I think this will be good. All right. Tammy, let me read your thing out loud. Sorry, Buzzy.
What up, Chris?
Tammy, thank you for the 5 on the blue app with a V. It says, stop muting me. Wah, 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 wah. Or it says, fucking MAGA crybabies. W Tammy in the comments, you're the best. W Tammy. Guys, if you want to show support, pay links are in the bio. It is Dougie9192. If you guys want to show support, not needed, but I appreciate it. All right, what's up, Crestable? Tell me your age just for TikTok US.
Hey, I'm 46, Doug.
Alrighty, cool. You have any good day?
Hey, I'm having a fantastic day.
Good.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that. You are welcome to chime in. Let's just do our best not to overtalk each other. Let's try to be civil, etc., etc. Okay.
So unless you live in one of those states where your real ID includes your place of birth, and as a matter of fact, I think if you live in the state of Texas, to get your real ID, you have to provide your birth certificate. All of these things have to coincide. If they do not coincide, if you have been married, that makes that process difficult. And actually, people in Texas complained about this because of the process to get the real ID after they had been married.
What's up, Corey?
Do you guys think that people just go around this country that have a job and own a home and have, a bank account and go buy alcohol or tobacco or want to cash a check that they earn, once a week? Do you think all of these people just don't have this simple form of ID? Like, it is the weirdest thing to
So
me.
you can have.
I didn't interrupt you, ma'am. It is just odd to me that you guys live and operate under this oppressive regime that you need to prove who you say you are when you go to vote in a country, the best country in the world, I might add. So, it's just weird that you guys get hung up on this shit. It is,
but we have data.
It's not a hang up.
We have data showing that many people don't have these forms of documentation. In fact, I read it out loud like 30 minutes ago. Many people don't.
You just stated your wife doesn't have the documentation needed to be able to do this. You quite literally just told us that this would silence. Yeah, you just quite literally told us, unless you live in one of those 6 states, you just told us that your wife's vote would be silenced by the fact that she does not have a passport, which does take a while to get. And I think it's like, when I got mine, it was $150. I think somebody said it's now. Yeah.
It's 160 now. DBO, real quickly, what simple form of ID are you referring to when you said that?
Are we getting we got another? I'm just saying a passport is not the only form that you can use, that you can or need to use in the SAVE Act to go and vote. You guys gotta quit saying that, because it's not fucking true.
As we just discussed and as Dougie just showed you, if you have been married, the only
doesn't matter. Oh my God, we're going in circles.
We're not going in circles. You're not listening, and you also just conceded to what was just shown.
We're unfortunately going to have to go through this again. Yeah.
Yeah, the if you want to put it back on the screen, because
I'm going to have
to reading it all.
Yeah.
And you
Corey,
can read it in your own time.
Do you happen to have it? I know you talk about this topic a lot, Corey. Do you happen to have it?
Which document am I pulling up?
We want to show this. Yeah, so we want to show the section of the SAVE Act that shows that they need these sorts of documentation in order to vote.
And I might add that they can still change the bill as it goes through the Senate, and if they do amend the bill, then it has to go back to the House. So you guys are arguing about things that literally aren't even
You're only bringing this up because you've been proven wrong, and you won't concede to the fact
that that's not true. You haven't proven shit.
We have proven shit, and you actually conceded to the fact that this documentation that's necessary creates a barrier for people that don't have it. You actively told. You quite literally did comment section. Would you like to type what he said? And the other thing is, you actively told us that your wife would be silenced because she didn't have the passport.
That's not true, ma'am. I literally said I only agree that it should be easier to vote. That's all I agreed to. So let's get that straight.
So you agreed that the documentation creates a barrier that does not make it easy to vote.
By me saying it should be easy to vote does not agree to what you were trying to.
What you were talking about was the documentation when you conceded this, when we put it up on the screen for you to read it. This is backpedaling like I've never seen before. Should we roll that beautiful bean footage?
I'm standing down, 10 toes down.
Can I show you guys how much I burnt my pizza?
Said it should be easier to vote.
Look how much I burnt my fucking pizza. This is not going to be eating.
That's terrible.
I know. I put it in the air fryer and I fucking let it go too long. But I have more.
Douglas,
it's okay.
we've talked about this. Douglas, we've talked about it.
I know, guys. I know. Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
Stay away from the Michelinas.
All right.
You shouldn't use air fryers either. They're terrible for you.
Just out of curiosity, DVO, if we all agree that
I'm okay,
that voting should be easy, right? We all agree that voting should be easy for people. Mm-hmm. The SAVE Act, if the SAVE Act is adding additional barriers, shouldn't it be actually addressing?
What's the additional barrier? By just having a passport?
How many times we gotta go through this?
That's not the only fucking form, dude. You guys gotta quit saying this.
DBO. First of all, it limits the number of forms that you can use in order to register to vote. Right? That adds additional barriers because it's been determined that roughly 9% of all eligible voters don't have access to any of those documents, and nearly
That's
half
not
of all.
fucking true, dude.
Actually, no, it is because you're talking about birth certificates, right? 9% of Americans do not have easy access to their birth certificate right now.
You can go literally go down
to get a replacement.
You have to do that to get an ID anyway.
Hold on, but I want to point this out real quick. If you have to spend money to get a replacement, that does violate the 24th Amendment, as was determined in Crawford v. Marion County, in which the judge actually ruled in favor of requiring photo ID to go and vote. However, he also wrote in his decision that requiring birth certificates could place an undue burden and therefore violate the 24th Amendment. And not only did he make this decision, it was then agreed upon by 3 Supreme Court justices, Anton Scalia, Clarence Thomas, and the other one who I hate with every fiber of my being, but I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden, Alito. There we go. So the 3 most conservative justices on the bench at that time agreed with a ruling that pointed out that requiring a birth certificate in order to vote is going to be violating the 24th Amendment and placing an undue burden on people.
Did you cry about it then?
People did talk about it then. That's why we know about this. People talked about it. Every decision that's made by the justices have been discussed and brought up actually in this matter for that purpose.
You don't say.
Because of what documentation is required to
about a Supreme Court ruling.
DBO,
oh my God!
But DBO, how does that?
This is not gobsmacking. A lot of people have opposition to what SCOTUS ruling. That there's dissents and there's agreements.
Here's my problem with this DBO. That in no way addresses what I said. You're talking about birth certificates. I'm pointing out that over 26 million Americans don't currently have access to their birth certificate. But beyond that the Supreme Court justices agreed with a ruling that pointed out that requiring a birth certificate does place undue burden on the voters and could potentially be considered unconstitutional. And that's me being generous. What they actually said was this would violate the 24th Amendment.
Chris hasn't even got to talk yet. I'd love to hear his opinion.
Wait. Are you just running away from... Okay.
He keeps running from the point. And the reason why they ruled this way is because of what is required to get a birth certificate. You haven't made a point. That's the issue. We keep having to talk about this because you haven't made a point.
What's your point? Run track because you're just avoiding the hurdles. You're running from those hurdles.
There's other people on the panel, and I'm passing it around. That's not me.
All right. Okay. All right. Crustable, go ahead if you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. When you're talking about immediate access to birth certificates, everybody, like almost all states, provide the first birth certificate to the family, or on behalf of the child to the parents. Like free and no charge. Usually replacements, if you go to like the Department of Vital Records and, or whatever your state's agency is, it's usually like a nominal fee to $10 to $15 for replacements. But you are initially issued one for free. So therefore, your responsibility on maintaining your records is not a burden on the government that you are not responsible enough to handle your own records.
Wait, I'm sorry. Does it cost money to get a replacement? Just want to make sure real quick.
It well, most states. Most states.
You didn't hear what he just said, did you?
He heard. Let them speak. Let them speak.
I'm just pointing out that
let me finish.
He's just acknowledging that these will cost money to replace.
Holy fuck,
right?
dude.
Okay, so Crustable, go ahead and respond. Hey, let him. Dude, it's fine. Crustable, go ahead and respond to what Corey said, please.
Okay, so I understand that a cost for a replacement birth certificate can cost, a nominal fee. Most states it's usually $10 to $15. Varies by state. But social
more expensive from there.
But social security cards are absolutely free. You can go to ssa.gov and you can have one mailed out to you in like a week or two.
Cool. And is your social security card valid for the SAVE Act?
So when you go ahead and when it comes into identification, and when it goes into identification,
Crustable, it's a yes or a no.
Can you just answer that question if it is?
Are all of your guests insufferable?
Debo, stop. Debo, please.
DBO, I'm asking a yes or a no question because I know the answer is no. So I want him to confirm this because
he's speaking, I can't hear what he's saying because you're talking.
Cool. Okay. Is a social security card/number good enough to prove your citizenship or good enough for the SAVE Act? The answer is no. So when you go in that direction, you're not actually answering anything.
So when you're going with that, you utilize your birth certificate and social security card, and you can get identification. Now, identification cards, not driver's licenses. Driver's licenses carry additional fees and stuff like that. I do understand, and you know what? I get what you're saying, that you that there is a cost of money to get an ID, which is, again, varying state by state. And they range from either some states, I think the first one's free, depending on your age, and some go up to like $70, which, you know, for people that are impoverished, that is a significant
Of
amount of
course,
money.
yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
But there are, so I get that. I understand what you're saying with that. And
I don't think you do.
but
So-
I think that there needs to be focus on state legislations who are the issuers of the identification cards to drop those costs, to make it zero, to
Okay, so
to
another
fulfill
barrier
what they're
is not
complying
the
to law.
answer. We
Well,
know
also-
already.
Ho-
We know
ho- ho-
already, we have data that 21.3 million United States citizens of voting age do not have access to their documentation for citizenship. We already know this. And as someone that works in social services, everybody I meet, I have to try to find their documents one way or another. And it is a process and it is costly, and I have to find other means to be able to pay that because they don't have access for that. And to say the burden on having these main documents is not on people, life happens, right? Life happens that people don't have any control over. Majority of the kids that end up in the system don't have their documents. Majority of homeless people in the United States of America do not have their documents. Majority of people being sheltered in transitional housing. Life events occur where people do not have this documentation. So if we have 21.3 million United States citizens.
How many of these people are trying to vote?
Wait, but also
That
They're
are
of
homeless?
voting age.
Like how
The
many? How many?
21.3% of these,
Right.
the 21 million people that do not have these documents are eligible voters.
I know. And how many of them are voting?
it doesn't matter. Doesn't
They
matter.
can't
hold
vote
on,
because they
but-
don't have
It
these
doesn't
documents.
matter.
What
no,
are you
well,
talking about?
no, because I don't think that's relevant to the point, man. I don't
also,
see how.
Sure. It's not relevant to people that don't give a shit about voting. Sure.
Hey, so DBO, one of the reasons why we have low voter turnout is because we make it so difficult to register and to vote in this country anyways. But
Sure.
Crustable, with what
I
you
would
said
agree.
earlier, that's great. You're right that people can go and do that and get a state ID. The problem here is that according to the SAVE Act, only 6 states have a form of state ID that would be acceptable for you to register to vote. So everything you said still does not actually address the problem of the SAVE Act.
Can I just show something here real quickly? Just how much voter fraud occurs in U.S. elections. We're gonna go state. I don't want to have to go state by state, but do you
Be
guys
careful
see that?
with this.
Do you guys see that
Yeah,
low
be
percent?
careful though.
Point
Yeah,
zero
but be
zero
careful.
zero zero zero. What are we being careful? I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to get that to zero.
I know. People have been getting dropped for this. I'm just trying to help you out, man.
Okay. My point is, and I would hope you would agree, is that it is so minuscule that adding barriers to it doesn't. It offsets the benefit you would be getting, right? If you're making it harder for citizens to vote, and non-citizens are already not voting, how is this helpful?
I mean, we can break it down further. 69 million women don't have birth certificates that match their current legal name due to marriage. That's 69 million women that have to figure it out. So we have 21.3 million United States citizens of voting age that do not have their documents needed for this. And we have 69 million women who do not have a birth certificate that matches their name because they've been married. Why are we adding disparities when we see that it quite literally is less than 1%?
Legitimately, more Americans are going to be affected by the bill the second it is enacted than there have been fraudulent votes cast in the history of the United States, by orders of magnitude. Like that cannot be discounted.
Okay, so you guys are saying that due to the fact that it's requiring, can we just go over all of the forms of ID that the SAVE Act is requiring to register to vote in a federal election? Can we go over what all of those documents are?
Okay, sure.
You want me to list it for you real quick? Sure, I can list it for you real quick. Proof of citizenship for people.
I was asking Doug, but sure.
Well, he has
it's
it
just
on hand.
naturalization papers. It's a valid birth certificate,
Cool.
passport, EID, tribal card, or naturalization paper. Those are the acceptable documents under the SAVE Act.
Real quick, I got to do my announcements real quick. Hey, everyone, if you're joining live, click the red follow button in the top left on TikTok. If you're watching on the tube, please click the subscribe button. Make sure you guys follow Corey, follow Buzzy as well. They're the two friendly panelists that are up there. Please give them some support. I have the gift goal. Pay links are also in my bio. If you want to show support, I'll read your comment out loud to the chat. While it's not needed, I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys keep tapping. Guys, we should be well over 25,000 likes. Let's halfway to get to 50, okay? And we are looking for opposition. If you disagree with the background prompt, you voted for Trump, etc., there's a request button. Come on up. We can make it a panel thing and swap people out. All right, go ahead, whoever was going.
Want me to repeat the list of documentation? Or do we remember?
Yeah, do you need it again, or are you okay, man? Devo?
Oh, we're good. Go ahead.
Can you repeat it because somebody in the audience asked you to?
Yeah, no problem. So for anybody who needs to know, there's basically 5 forms of identification according to the SAVE Act that are going to be valid. There is your state-issued birth certificate, your passport, your proof of your naturalization paperwork, your enhanced ID, which is valid or which 6 states have, or your tribal identification, right? So your proof of being an indigenous person in the U.S. Those are going to be the 5 primary forms of identification that would be acceptable under the SAVE Act.
So my previous point of saying that a passport is not the only barrier to get your ID to vote in a federal election, and you guys were like fucking freaking out about that. So
I personally, I can't say that I freaked out about it because I acknowledge that. I told you specifically that 69 million married women do not have their birth certificates.
Okay, so to me, as an American, I only want Americans having an influence on the country that I live in. I think that is right. And so
less than 1% of fraudulence found.
Can you just wait till I'm done talking? So for me to make sure that is happening, so it's a big fat 0, I think that is important. And we should only be having people have a say in who our elected officials are in this country. We should also not be having people that aren't American citizens being counted in the census as well.
Hold on, these things aren't happening though. That's the problem with what you're saying. These things
people are being counted in the census.
Hold on.
Not
as far as voting goes, we've already gone over the numbers of how minuscule it is. And of my opinion, if we prevent, say, 10 citizens from voting, just so, say, 1 non-U.S. citizen didn't vote, I think that's a bad thing. I think we should, again, make it more as accessible as possible. So if you're restricting all of these people just for 1 non-citizen, that's not a good ratio. Really isn't.
By the way, I've got some good news for you too, by the way. We already do what you want to do for federal elections. Are you aware of what you need to do to be able to vote in a federal election?
Yeah, we already went over this, dude.
Cool. So you're aware that U.S. citizens are the only people who can register to vote in federal elections. You're aware that this is run through USCIS. You're aware that names are confirmed. Right?
So if you don't have to prove who you say you are when you go to vote, there is no way that you could solidify that. And the only states that Kamala Harris won in 2024 were states that did not require a vote or ID to vote.
Dude, again, why do we have to go and start? Why do we have to? Dude, we went back to square one again. How did we get back? How did we get to back?
Are you kidding
me? We did.
Nobody's even said that yet.
Because you're implying that there was no
anything.
Hold on though, but we've already
other than the words I said.
We've already spoken that you need identification in order to register. So it's redundant to say what you're saying, that they didn't have identification to vote.
Not.
They did.
No, it's not. No, because
every single state, you and you can go next. I'm sorry. Every single state, in order to register, you have to have identification. You have to.
That's in a well. So no, Okay, caveats. So a caveat to it, I'll utilize the state of Maryland for example. In the state of Maryland, is one of those places that states that will issue identification cards, not enhanced IDs, but they will issue an identification card. And in the entire process of going and issuing an identification card, you're like, and if you are 18 or over, would you like to register to vote? And you do that at the point of receiving your identification right there at the Motor Vehicles Administration. And when it comes into Maryland, where Maryland is considered a sanctuary state, some of their requirements for issuing just a regular identification is pretty soft, which includes bank statements, but it doesn't require sometimes birth certificates until you're getting the driver's license. We looked at non-U.S. citizens receiving driver's licenses in California, and in fact, not even like non-citizens, like previously undocumented personnel and doing it, and illegal people doing it. So when it goes into almost every state, the primary place to register to vote is at the Department of Motor Vehicles. So only thing they have to do is check that box while they're filling out that form. And some of it is right there in the kiosk where they're at.
But you need your.
That's not true.
But it
hold on, no.
You need a social security number to be able to register to vote. Also, that conspiracy about Kamala is ridiculous because I'm pretty sure she won Virginia, and I'm also pretty sure she won Hawaii. And their processes involve an extra step. Get an absolute grip.
And again, hold on.
Go ahead, Corey.
Check a box. They still run your name through USCIS. Sure, you need to check a box to register, like at the user level. That's one thing. The same way I need to check a box in order to access a website. But there's a whole lot of stuff that happens on the back end then, including your name and your registration and citizenship status are run through USCIS, where they verify, hey, is this person a U.S. citizen? Oh, no, they're not.
Yeah, actually, hold on. You can register to vote in any state, by the way, depending on your state. Not all states, some states do allow non-citizens to partake in state and local elections.
Yes.
That's
it.
But that's still a part. But that's still.
Dude, can you let him fucking talk?
Debo, they're doing fine. They're doing fine.
That's still a part of the entire voter registration process. So what you're saying is,
wait, Crustable,
the person's not eligible.
That, though. That's the thing. The SAVE Act doesn't address that at all. The SAVE Act only applies to federal registration.
Okay,
and federal elections. So
federal elections.
We're talking about local and state elections that will never be affected by the SAVE Act, which is a completely non-issue then for this conversation.
So great point, because you brought up the documents. You were born here in the United States. You have a birth certificate. Your initial birth certificate is issued for absolutely for free. All right. So now you're going through a naturalization document. A naturalization document said that you were born abroad, but now you're in the United States, and they said, you know what, you're naturalized. Now you're eligible to vote. So people receive that document from the federal government, which is a naturalization document. You are talking about an enhanced driver's license, which is something that, yes, people have to pay for. When you're talking about the documents from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, from the BIA, those documents are provided at the tribal, at that level there, which are federal documents that are provided to them at no charge. So we can go ahead and you run it down. Now, I get that there might be some caveats to where if someone is married and changes their name, or in fact, not just married, but if people change their name, you're going to go to, a male that's going to go to, example, someone that goes to court, gets a legal name change, you're still going to have a supporting document when it goes to the court, which has a court order. Then you have the birth certificate, which matches up with the name, saying previous name here, new name as. So you are going to have documentation. It's just making people show up with it.
Okay.
What point you're talking in circles?
Corey, go ahead.
I'm so confused at what point you thought you just made there.
You're going to have the documents already. Everybody has their documents.
They don't have the documents. We just talked about this. 69 million married women do not have their documents, and 21.9 million Americans of voting age do not have their documents. And we quite literally just talked about this. Not everybody has it.
And 70 million. You're telling me 70 million women don't current state ID? Like, what in the actual fuck?
Your state ID isn't good enough under the SAVE Act.
Unless you live in one of 6 states, your state ID
If
can't
you have,
save you.
all you need to do is bring a social security card with you that has your matching name on it.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Real quick.
That's why I hold on. That's why I asked you what are dude. That is why I asked you what are dude. Stop. That's why I asked you what are the 5 supporting documents at the beginning of this whole entire argument.
Okay.
He read them off. A social security is absolutely one of those documents.
It's not a valid document for the SAVE Act. You can't use your social security
for it. Oh my God. You can't.
Debo.
You can't.
Debo.
Oh my
Please
God.
expand the screen, Doug. Can you do the show more, please?
The 5 documents? You want me to read the 5 documents?
Well, I'm showing you this right now. If you see this.
Yes, it was. You said it was.
Hey, check this out real quick. An estimated 69 million American women do not have a birth certificate that reflects their current legal name, largely due to changing their surname after marriage. So this is going to face a challenge.
If that's true, how would they have an ID? How would they have a state ID? You still have to have a current.
Because at a local level, at a local level, local and federal processes are 2 different things, which is why your ID is not considered a real ID.
The state
and
you live
why
in to
you
register to vote in a federal.
I'm explaining because you're not getting it.
You don't need to explain it. No.
Well, clearly I need to because you're not getting it.
I think she does.
The reason why the SAVE Act explicitly tells you that you can't use your social security card for this is because state and federal processes are 2 different things. When you get married at a state level. You can change your federal documents. It does take time and it is a process, which is what I stated when I initially came up here, that it is not overnight and it does in fact cost money. On the opposite side of that, as that just told you, that majority of married women do not have birth certificates that match their current name because they got married at a state level and only changed the current documents needed, not the federal ones. You also told, and then you also talked about this in documentation when you stated that one of the things you're supposed to get when you change your name is a passport. You told us that your wife doesn't have that documentation, right? Yes, there are different areas of documentation you can use for this. However, everything has to match up in sync. If they don't match up in sync, you are screwed.
Needed that
so you
before
need
the
to
SAVE
go
Act,
online.
though.
No.
You have to pay for that to happen. You have to pay for that to happen.
Before the SAVE Act.
Real quick, just a reminder that non-citizens can also obtain a social security number. So, like, you just came... That, once again, is not valid for the SAVE Act because it doesn't prove your citizenship. So you just mentioned 2 documents that cannot be used to prove your citizenship being used to prove your citizenship, which is why we have to keep repeating things and treat you like a 3-year-old.
No, they would get a EIN.
Even to go
not,
get...
Hold on, he was speaking.
Go ahead, Chris.
You would not get an EIN. But the thing is, there are processes out there. When you go through, like example, a name change, through Department of Vital Records, whatever your state calls them, you can go through and say, hey, I want to have my birth certificate amended to record a name change. You can do that. You can also utilize a court order to where you change your name to something completely else. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. You can go ahead and you can do that. There is processes. There are processes
money
in
and take
place
time,
to do
as
so.
I stated.
The federal government does not charge you to do so. It is the states. That is a responsibility of the state to amend the charges. But it still costs you money, regardless of who is charging you. It is still a tax. You are being taxed. You have to pay out the ass for this. This is ridiculous.
Because of the state. That's not because of the federal government.
Okay,
that's on the states.
Not to mention,
the states are the one charging the fees,
not the federal government.
Our elections are
therefore
secure.
That is not a poll tax.
Hold on, I know.
Therefore, it is not a poll tax on a federal election because it is the state that is requiring it.
Okay, but when it comes to the documentation as well, right? We are one of the points as well. In addition to that, is the amount of work provided that needed to get these things right. Why should we make it more difficult for people to vote when we know already that voter fraud is such a minuscule thing that happens? We're talking 0.00000 whatever percent. Like, this isn't a problem that needs to be fixed. It just isn't.
But these are what you're talking about. These are documents that people should be having anyway.
Correct.
Like, It's not
But
something
then why make it more
extraneous.
difficult? For literally no
It's
advantage,
not.
why
You
make
already
it more
had the
difficult?
documentation.
Wait, hold
You
on.
already had to do this when you got
I don't
married.
know
You
why we
already had
keep
to
going
do
in
this
circles.
when you had to get a state ID.
Why do we
It's
keep going
fucking
in
stupid.
circles? I'm not sure why we keep going in
Because
circles.
you guys want to just sit here and complain all day about everything
Okay,
the Trump
if it's the
administration is
same
doing.
thing,
That
if
is
it's
why
the
we're
same
going in
thing,
circles.
hold on. If it's the same thing, why would they be making the SAVE Act? That doesn't make sense.
Because they are trying to solidify that the people that are voting in the elections are American citizens.
So
Which
what
we
is it?
already
That's
did.
Are you arguing that the
We already
Constitution
did.
doesn't apply to states? Is this what you're implying? Like, to clarify, are you implying that the Constitution does not also affect the states?
Here's the deal. Wait, I'm sorry.
Well, states have their own constitution as well, but the Constitution is the superior law of the land. Absolutely.
The Federalists quite literally, you know what? Ain't no fucking way.
Go,
Right,
go,
right. But by the way,
go,
can you name a
go ahead, Corey. Yeah.
What did I say that was incorrect?
Go ahead, Corey. Corey, go ahead.
Name a single fraudulent vote cast federally. Because, like, there are fraudulent votes. They're cast at the state
I'm not a
and local
fucking poll worker,
Literally.
dude. Give me a break. What a stupid question that is.
Hold on. There's no federal polls, by the way. When you go
Wait,
into a
there are
voting,
federal elections. There are federal ballots. There are federal elections that you can that you
Yes.
can put in for. And we know from the actual studies that voter fraud happens at the local level, not at the federal level.
But
So
in
you're
the
saying,
same polls,
this
in the
ensure-
same
Hold on.
places.
Hold on. You're saying this ensures that people aren't illegally voting in federal elections. I got some good news for you. Already happens. We already check it. We already verify it. It is shown that there is no evidence of voter fraud in federal elections. We won, guys. We don't need additional
Telling me
legislation.
the federal government's batting 1,000? Get
And
out of
still
here.
at a state
Jesus.
level. So at a state level, multiple states conducted their own investigation. I can't speak on other states because I wasn't tracking them as closely, but I did follow what was happening in Florida. And the only fraud Florida found within themselves is that their state employees were accidentally registering people to vote that had criminal backgrounds of crimes that would not allow them to vote.
Oopsie.
The federal government's batting
So wait.
1,000.
If that, hold on, no. Off of that metric, hold on. Off of that metric alone, that would be people voting in the elections. Which would make it voter fraud,
At a
correct?
state of
Hey,
millions,
you see this
they
on
found
right?
under 10.
See this on screen? This is the amount of voter fraud that has occurred in the last 25 years. 0.0000845 in the last 25 years.
In the state of Florida alone, they found under 10. Out of all the millions of people that moved here, including the influx of people that moved to the state of Florida, they found under 10. And all of them were United States citizens. The only reason why they were not eligible to vote is because of the crimes that they committed.
36 cases, by the way.
Hold on, real fast.
Cases.
I gotta drop.
Okay.
I just got home, real quick. According to Fulton County's own Board of Electors, they said that they could not verify the signatures of 315,000 ballots. So therefore, that's a shitload more than .00238.
Wait.
Hold on. You're conflating two different things, man.
Wait, do you know the Fulton
No, I'm
County
not.
issue? No. Do you know the Fulton County incident or no? Because that's a really easy one to prove that you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know what happened in Fulton County?
What did I say? They said they could not they did not verify the signatures of 317 ballots.
What they didn't do was they didn't get the second signature initially certifying it. Which, by the way,
that's what I just fucking said, dude.
Hold on. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means, Steve?
Bro, stop laughing and answer him.
Laughing is not telling us what it means.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting out. My service is getting spotty. Can you repeat it one more time?
Well, that's fucking convenient.
What that means?
I literally just got home. I'm bouncing in between my Wi-Fi from my house and my driveway.
Cool. Anyways, do you know what it means by they were missing a signature?
You want me to fucking screenshot it and put it on the fucking thing?
No,
that means that the poll workers, because the person signs the ballot and then the poll worker verifies that. That is
then
what
it wasn't
then
fraud.
No. And then there's an additional signature afterwards. That additional signature is what was missing. And by the way, do you know how we resolve that issue?
Go ahead and tell me.
We cure it. We literally have somebody come in, check it, confirm it, and then add their signature, and then the ballot is good. That's all that
Right.
we
And
need to do.
Fulton County verified that they didn't do that process. Therefore, those ballots could not be counted by
Fulton
state
Yes,
County
law.
went back and
they
corrected
All
that
cured
right.
them. They
process.
cured
Sure.
them. They
Sure. Right.
literally cured them.
Sure.
You are spreading
Sure.
propaganda.
It
That
is.
is
You
not
silly
propaganda.
goose.
That is the legitimate reason why they went and
Okay,
got the
Corey
And
ballots.
Fulton
explained
County
it. Corey
corrected
explained
that
it.
issue. Once they realized what the issue was, Fulton County quite literally corrected it.
So there was no fraud, okay? We need to stop reiterating that bullshit.
I guess we're gonna
That's
find
it
out,
hasn't
huh?
been
We're gonna
it, it
What do you
hasn't
mean
been
we're
it
gonna
hasn't been
find out?
proven
we're
yet,
gonna
though.
find out, huh? Yeah. I understand that. We're gonna find out, though, right?
Do you really
yeah,
think the 2020
Trump-
election... Do you think Trump really won the 2020 election? Like, truly?
No.
I just love. We're gonna
Okay.
find out now, guys. We found out in 60+ federal court cases, none of which actually
I
made
just
it to
said
court
no.
because the judges tossed them.
Okay.
Okay.
But that was,
Well, then I
it took
guess we
you a while to
already
say
found
no.
out,
But yeah. But Corey's correct. There was over 60 court cases.
No, it didn't. It was an instant one word. I said no instantly.
All right.
No.
Okay. Hey guys, if you
It
are
was an
enjoying
instant no.
okay, guys, if you're enjoying the live, click the red follow button in the top left. Make sure you guys follow Corey. He does his own lives. He has great lives, so make sure you give him a follow. Great information, all that. Make sure you guys show him a little bit of support. Same with Buzzy as well. She doesn't do her own lives.
If
but
you
she's-
hate me,
she's
follow
still
Doug.
very smart. And everybody watching on the tube, make sure you guys engage. So if you guys can comment, hit the subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate that. Pay links are also in the bio if you guys want to show support. Not needed, but I do appreciate it.
You know what, Doug? I'll tell you what I learned from this. I learned that we all learned about federalism for fucking nothing. That's what we did. We learned about federalism for fucking nothing. We learned about federalism just to get to this age and pretend that we didn't know that federalism existed, nor that we have a concept of what federalism is. And I'll be damned. Doug. I think it's your mustache.
I want to state something because the tube comments, as you guys know, are wild. Okay? They said they never took up the discovery in them cases. No, there was roughly about half of the cases they were dismissed on the merits of the lack of evidence alone. There was many that Trump actually voluntarily dismissed. I'm going to show you guys all the court cases because we got to stop spreading this information that they never looked at the evidence. That's also misinformation.
Yeah, that was
Several were
nobody
dismissed
said
with
anything
precedent.
about that, and that was because
Several were dismissed with prejudice because of how bad the claims were. It's so
right. It was terrible,
It was
and that's
also
why
a
he
very
lost.
easy
And we moved
correction.
on, and it's good. Right? Yeah, it's over.
Wait.
I never even alleged anything other than the ballots. That's
You know
all
what,
I
Debo?
said.
That's fair. You know what? I will give you credit there. You have not said the 2020 election was fake. However, I will point this out. Republican lawmakers are quite literally using the 2020 election as a justification for the SAVE Act.
Right.
So, you're not. However, the Republican lawmakers are, and a lot of people who support Donald Trump still reject the results of the 2020 election.
I'm not that person, dude.
I'm not claiming you are. But we are talking about the
Okay.
SAVE Act, and we're talking about the justification being used, and people are still using 2020 as a justification, even after everything we've proven repeatedly.
And
And for the
that's
person that asked in the
problematic.
comment section what happened with the cases in Florida, they did go and pull those people's registration, and I don't think they actually made it to vote. They just made it through the registration process.
Yeah, so here, there's 60, I got it right here. There were 64 cases. 20 were dismissed before the hearings of the merits, okay? 14 were voluntarily dismissed by Trump and his allies before hearing on the merits. Why, I don't know. And then 30 included the hearings on the merits, meaning 44, which is well over half of them, either looked at the evidence or Trump just dismissed it himself. That's all we need, guys. He lost. Get over it. I don't know why we have to keep litigating.
that's why I didn't want to go down that
No,
road.
I get it.
and
I get it.
that
I'm
was
talking.
clearly not my intent,
I'm sort of
so.
talking to some of the people in the
Oh,
comments.
all right. I thought
I'm
I
not
was like,
talking to-
man, I just.
No, you're
okay,
good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Fair.
All right. Well,
I would add to that real quick. I would just add to that. I'm glad Trump lost. There's no way we would have had the Trump that we have today, and we wouldn't have the path to, rectifying all of the issues. I mean, we may not have had the issues, but
like what?
Well,
So you're glad Trump lost because he could become a full-fledged fascist in the 2024. That's concerning.
I mean, that's your opinion, and you're
I
entitled to that.
mean-
I'll never.
Okay. Well, hold on.
I'll never take that away from you. But
what
that's your
issues is he
opinion,
trying
fine.
to tackle? What issues that are so pressing that he's tackling?
I just
Remember
think
the
my eyes
terrible
are about to
times when
get
there were a
real
handful
big.
of adults? Remember when Trump actually had a couple of competent people in his cabinet who would tell him no and stop him from repeatedly violating civil liberties and the Constitution? Those were the dark old days of America compared to 2026.
No, I know, right? Like, it's weird that we're yearning for those times. Oh,
Well,
those were the better times.
I would
We
say
used to just yearn for the
my phone's
mines. My
about to
God.
die, but I would just say that we wouldn't be dealing with the.
With what?
Oh,
I think his phone died. As
Goddamn! Right
asking
as he
we're
was
just
about
yearn
to
for the
say it.
mines.
that's
Right.
mid
Was he about to
sentence.
say illegal immigrants? I'd imagine.
I don't know.
He was either going to say
I don't know what he
illegal
was going to say.
immigrants, or he was going to say either illegal immigrants or trans people.
Okay, I thought he was going to go illegal immigrants. I
Oh
felt
yeah,
that way.
David. Yeah, let's get them to call in. If you're watching on the tube, my mod is going to put the phone number in the chat. Okay, this is time for you to come on up. All right. All right. Well, he's not
So,
here.
Crest, can I ask what made you vote for Donald? And I'm asking
Good
this
question.
because you seem to be a supporter of his. And really, my thing is, in his first presidency, he didn't accomplish anything he said he would. I can think of at least two things he did as president that I thought was solid. One of them had to do with animals. But he didn't do anything he said he was going to do in his first term.
Yeah, that was
So
actually a
what
good one.
made you decide to go with
It was animal
him
abuse.
this time? Yeah.
Actually, I didn't. So in 2016, I was just anti-Hillary. And when it came to the Republican primaries, I was hoping for Carly Fiorina. I think that she had stronger foreign policy, which I was more aligned with. I'll say straight up, like I'm more of a neoconservative instead of straight conservative. Just so that there is delineation there. I didn't vote for him in 2020. And I didn't vote for him. I voted for Kamala in 2024. One of the reasons why I didn't vote for him was because he was basically going into isolationism, which does not jive with me at all. In his previous term, in 2017 to 2021, he was looking to withdraw troops and do reduction in forces from Germany and pulling people back to the United States. He was doing feasibility assessments. He was doing a lot of stuff to actually withdraw a lot of people over there. And so, no, I voted for Kamala because I didn't want to be an isolationist. However, a lot of the policies that are going on and the things that I've seen, like, hey, I'm fine with that and I support.
And which ones would those be? Because I can't, especially with what you're saying, right? Because arguably, well, it's not arguably. I think you could put this on paper and find this out if you tried hard enough. Donald Trump is not a conservative. He's something.
I didn't say that I was either. I said I'm a neocon.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not a conservative. He's something, but he's not a conservative. You said that you are a neoconservative. Okay. And you said that the things he's doing are things that you align with. How does your political beliefs align with anything that he has done as a neoconservative? And when I say Donald Trump is something, I'm giving that something a human. I don't think he has a political affiliation. I think he goes with whatever is going to get him money.
So policies, bam. What we're doing globally, we're talking about Maduro. We're talking about our strengths when it comes into strengthening relationships overseas. Now, all y'all are going to say, hey, what about the EU? What about Canada? What about this place, this place? I'm looking at places where we're gaining positive strength. We now have a relationship with Venezuela. We finally do have a relationship, a working relationship to where it establishes that the United States and Venezuela can succeed together. We're looking at potentially things that are going on in Iran right now. If we go in and I'm going to say, hey, I'm for us doing strikes and removing that regime. What that does globally, it will further hinder China in being able to eventually invade Taiwan. Let's look at, and also it's going to choke out Russia when it comes into a lot of munitions and drones that are being utilized in the Ukraine-Russian war are actually coming from Iran as well. He just established, he got peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia that had, like, that's been a war over a century long. And now he established a basically an area at the southern part where there's a kind of like a new Silk Road that is absolutely secure, which will allow trade throughout Eurasia. He's doing great things throughout the world. And when it comes into, that's not me.
That would be
You know what,
somebody.
Doug? What a perfect time for you to take a call.
Oh, I had so much
Doug.
more to say. Son of a bitch. As a global war on terror veteran, fuck everything you just fucking said.
Hey, listen, man. I spent 25 years in the military. Yeah, I like retired a couple of years ago. And as a GWAT veteran, multiple tours myself, hey, listen, I understood what the reason was. I understood the fight. Now, am I going to say, hey, was Iraq right and just? No. Afghanistan, I will say, yeah. And then we were doing things throughout the world as well. When we started in 2015 under Obama, Operation Enduring Freedom, Caribbean and Central America, where we were looking at the nexus between narco terrorism and AQ and other
Cristobal,
terrorist organizations.
Cristobal, we destabilized at least 3 countries, made them worse for everybody involved, encouraged rises in terrorism and anti-U.S. sentiment throughout the global South because of everything we just did. Not only that, but if you support what we did to Venezuela, we destabilized a country and then reinstalled the same regime that we claimed was dictatorial. We didn't, and then we said, hey, we will just take over Venezuela. We will make it a part of the United States and we will control it explicitly. How the fuck can you support that if you fucking served 25 goddamn years in the fucking military?
Because I knew what the fuck I was fighting for. Apparently, you didn't.
I'm sorry, you were fighting for American imperialism?
I was fighting for America.
Well, no, so American imperialism, a way to get more U.S. troops killed for nothing. Okay,
I'm not saying it was getting
fucked
troops
up.
killed for nothing. Like every
What the
soul
fuck
has a
is?
cost. I don't think that. And listen, I don't advocate for loss of Americans' lives, but I understand
I don't advocate
what
for any
we
loss of fucking
do.
life. We killed 1 million civilians in Iraq, my guy. Pretty fucked up, considering Iraq was also not better off after we left it.
I didn't advocate for Iraq at all. I even said that earlier. If you would listen.
No, I
Hey,
did listen. I'm just, but I'm also
quick question. Quick question. When I was eating, I was on mute, right, for like 99% of the time. No one heard me really.
yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't hear
Okay.
you. We couldn't hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. All right. I just
Killed.
want to make sure. People on the YouTube, I was muted there too. I should have been. Apparently, 1 or 2 people were really bothered by the very small time they heard me chewing. But sorry. All right. Good. Just good to know. Cool.
Killed thousands of civilians in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's not doing. And then, by the way, Donald Trump negotiated with the fucking Taliban, created the Doha Accords, which will forever be one of the worst negotiated deals we have ever made with one of our enemies. And again, then, because of it, led to 14 more U.S. military deaths as we withdrew by Taliban prisoners who he fucking released. I just want, like, how the fuck can you
No,
watch
that
our
was
foreign policy
now. Hold on.
how can you
Now you're
watch our foreign
pivoting.
policy failures and be like, oh,
You're,
you know what? We need to fucking strike Iran, destabilize that region for no fucking reason, and also destabilize Venezuela for no fucking benefit to the United States.
So Iran. So with when it goes into Iran, we're looking at how many of their own U.S. How many of their own citizens have they slaughtered when it came into protests and uprisings that happened without our provocation?
So let me.
How many did that? We're
Iran
going to look at
bad.
like 32,000.
We should bomb Iran.
You're looking at 32,000, right? People just slaughtering their own citizens. Yeah, seems cool. They
One
seem
quick
legit.
thing.
You know,
One quick. Hold on. One quick.
we should protect the Ayatollah and the
Time out.
IRGC.
Time out. I gotta introduce this guest. I gotta see if they're opposition. MC, how old are you?
I'm 40. I voted for Trump.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure you're opposition because I didn't want to have another friendly on up. Okay. So hold on. Before we converse, I just want to make sure you can agree to a couple basic things. Just try your best not to overtalk. I understand a little bit happens, but try your best not to. Let's try to be civil. And if you have background noise, just please be on mute when you're not talking. Okay.
This neoconservatism is starting to sound a little bit like a lie. That's all I'm
Yeah, it
saying.
really does sound like a lie,
Little bit.
doesn't it, Buzzy? But like this is so funny to me because like, oh yeah, Iran's really repressive to its people. I agree with you. So was Iraq, and you said our invasion of there wasn't justified. So I'm sorry, but like you can't either hold a consistent worldview or you can't bring up their very repressive.
You there?
Sorry, he
there,
was.
Corey? Corey, you got cut out.
You're
Doug,
breaking up.
Doug, you need to mute yourself, please.
Wait, you heard all of that?
Yes.
Yes, Doug.
What the
Yes,
fuck?
Douglas.
I was on mute. Wait.
You
do
were
you
not
hear me?
muted,
Do you
Douglas.
hear me right now?
Yes, Douglas.
To be
Yes.
fair,
Oh, I
like
know
this
why. I know why. Time out. Because the thing, the mic is on. I got it. Give me 1 second.
Now I probably sound better, right?
You do sound a
You
lot
do.
better.
Okay,
Douglas.
because
Look, I'll be
the
honest
mic I
with you,
have
when
here, I'm an idiot, guys, as many of you already know. I didn't have it attached to it on the computer. It was using the other one. It wasn't using what I had here. So you guys heard everything I was doing.
Douglas, we
That's
don't
embarrassing.
self-deprecate, okay? You're not an idiot. You made a mistake and you didn't press the right button.
I was burping and
Stop
all of that, thinking I
this.
was on mute. Well, shit. All right, let's go ahead, anyways. God damn.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's just you can't claim that Iran being repressive towards its population is a justification for us to strike them now, and then also be like, oh, but it was wrong when we did it to Iraq. Like, hold a consistent standard, my guy.
Actually, I am, because everything about Iraq was about false information, like false information, false pretenses, on going in, right? So I still stand wholeheartedly with Afghanistan. I do. Iraq, completely different, man. Like completely different.
Wait, both Iran and Iraq were
How?
false pretenses, though.
How?
Yeah,
Osama bin
why
Laden
would
wasn't
you
in
agree with that?
Afghanistan.
It's weird we're having this conversation a quarter century later, almost. Like, why do we have to have this conversation?
First I said how, but honestly, I don't think there's any comparison that you can give is sufficient enough for the how of that one. On the opposite side of that, I still stand firmly on what I said a minute ago. Neoconservative is not the answer. Yeah, pro-military, there's something to that, but yeah, I don't know if it's neoconservative. Yeah, you might want to reevaluate your thought processes with that one.
Yeah. I'm not going to listen to advice from you. I'm sorry. When it comes to my own values, but when we're
I'm
going to
saying that your value, what you're stating is your value. I'm saying that is being contradicted by the things that you are saying. I'm not saying you might not be neo something, but I'm saying neoconservative is not in the categories of the things that you are speaking
actually,
about.
yes,
You
when it
are
comes
indeed
into
pro-military.
It would be
Okay,
like me
maybe
calling
Corey
myself-
can mansplain it.
It would be like me calling myself a neo-lib, where realistically, I don't even think capitalism is a good idea, right? Like, I can't be a neo-lib and also believe in socialism. I can't identify myself as that.
Well, we're not really.
Conservatism was birthed right in the late 60s, early 70s from the Democrats, who were against a lot of the anti-culture, the counterculture, and that was birthed from that. So yes, when it comes into like pro-capitalism, neocons are pro-capitalist. I'm pro-capitalist. When it comes into strong U.S. borders, absolutely 100%. When it comes into free trade, yes, that's what I would support.
What is neoconservatism to you? Just out of curiosity.
I've just named off a few things.
Okay, so then by that, what you're stating, that is not neoconservatism.
That is, you look at it, like read it, look it up.
Neoconservative. Okay,
Go ahead,
if I'm
read
not mistaken, Dougie can pull it up on the screen.
Well,
Neoconservative would be the emphasis on the United States and global dominance, which you could
Part of
kind of
it,
get
yes.
there, which you
Yep.
could kind of get there with the pro-war. You have to have a strong national interest, and I think you have to have something about like preemptive action. And then you also have to have skepticism about our current government. Like you have to be worried about the current state of the welfare of this country, which you don't have. And on the opposite side of that, it is a ideology that came from formal liberals in like the 60s or 70s. Like what you're saying is not neoconservative.
You haven't
I
asked me
mean,
enough questions.
partially.
You're
Well, let's check it
only
out.
looking
Let's check
at
it out.
one. We looked at
Maybe
one
partially.
topic.
All right, someone's
We
got
looked at
background
one
noise.
topic, and that's what we talked about. And you're going to say I'm not.
So someone's got background noise. MC, it might be you. And MC, you are more than welcome to chime on in. You just kind of bump your way on in. All right.
You're fine.
Okay.
I don't like over talking.
No. You're
Well,
good.
oh,
I'm
yeah,
just saying when there's a pause, just chime in if you want. Anyways, neoconservative, relating to or denoting a return to a modified form of traditional viewpoint, in particular political ideology characterized by an emphasis of free market capitalism and an interventionist foreign policy.
None of what you said is that. So I'm gonna just say
It's in protection of interest. I mean, if we have an interest of a nation and we want to do trade, we provide the safety and security. I mean, if you look at Egypt, for example, 40% of international goods go for the Suez Canal. So it's obviously we have an interest to make sure that trade and the investment with Egypt is secured. I mean, do you prefer an American investment or do you prefer China and Russia investment? Same thing with the Panama Canal and so on and so on. So, I mean, the thing is so unique about Venezuela is one of the largest oil deposits in the world. And I would love to see American investment dealing with that deposit than having Russian and Chinese get hands on it, So, I mean, it's how I look at it. For us as a global economic power, you got to secure your investments. I mean, we buy and trade all over the world, and if anything happens or if there's a stabilization, it will affect us. I mean, if you look at the late 1970s with the oil embargo with Iran, we ran out of oil. You were literally lining up for hours just to get a tank of gas. I mean, the whole economy went to a grinding halt. C-19, we had a medical shortage on equipment because we rely heavily on China's imports, So I'm all about being energy independent, but people want cheap crap, People want the best deals out there. You want to exploit labor and everything else. This is why I support Trump's tariffs, So I want things made in
Not
America.
even the Supreme Court supports Trump's tariffs because there's a legal way to go about things, and what he did is considered illegal. On the opposite side of that, as I stated before, what I was talking about Crust is that he's something far more than neoconservative.
Right.
His opinions are far stronger than that of neoconservatism. And what I stated specifically is he might be neo-something, but neoconservative is not it.
Oh
I
no,
never
I
said
am
that his
not
opinion is
racist
weakened.
whatsoever. By
I
the way, I'm
didn't
also
call
a
you
Zionist.
racist. Where did you
But
get? What the
by
fuck?
the way, you want to talk about like a neo Schwazi, which you're alluding
No,
to?
that's
No,
not
no,
what
she is
I
not. No, she
said.
is not.
That is
Joe, she's
not
not.
what I said.
She's not.
I mean, what's
That's
so
not what I
different?
said.
What's so different between the conservatives and the Democrats? I mean, the policy what Obama did is no different than the other administration.
Well,
I mean,
hold
what
on.
we
I
did
don't.
in Syria, Libya, and Iraq.
But
I
between
mean,
like a hold on, between like a classical liberal and a neoconservative, there's actually not huge differences. Now, when it comes to social issues, maybe some. But
well, it's part of national security. I mean, this
liberals,
is
Doug,
American
that's
interest.
exactly it. Thank you,
li-
Doug. You're right there on the point.
liberals
Neoconservatism
are
was birthed from liberals. It
right.
quite literally came from liberals in like the 60s or 70s, I believe.
Liberals
Maybe
are not
somewhere
on
at
the
the
left.
midpoint.
Yeah, liberals are
Yeah,
not on the
I
left.
quite
think it
literally
went
not
on
on
way
the left.
before
What
that.
I'm saying is your opinions are far more extreme, maybe
Well,
neo-fascism, but I don't know
can
where
you
you got the
explain the Korean
racism from.
War?
That's crazy.
Can you explain the Korean War, both World War One and World War Two? I mean, this is all a matter of national security and American interests, as I said. I mean, if you want to pull back and let the other superpowers fill in the vacuum, then fine. We can go by what Putin wants. Let Putin take Ukraine. Let's let them take Egypt. I mean, if you want to be an isolation nation, then fine. Let Russia take it all. Fuck it. Let China take it.
But hold on though. Like a lot of,
So,
and I understand.
and then we have to trade with them. Do you want them to determine your markets?
Oh, well, hold on. When it comes to Ukraine, though, I mean that obviously seems like something that you would differ because a lot of people on the right were not for that at all. And Trump claimed that he wasn't, although he still funded a lot of things in relation to Ukraine. So he said one thing but did
the Russian
another.
separatists. I mean, the Russian separatists took over Crimea back in 2013. But if Putin wanted to continue, he could have. And if he said a long-awaited decision, he went in there literally like 12 years later. But at the end of the day, what we want as the mega movement, we want a ceasefire. There's a difference between a ceasefire and a peace treaty, and we just want things to stop because right now,
you don't want a peace
Russia
treaty?
is still winning despite their.
That's also
Ain't shit ceasing. We ain't ceased the goddamn medium right.
That's also Russian propaganda that you're spewing.
Well, I mean, is Ukraine winning the war or are they losing?
Well, why would you not want a peace treaty?
It's not a peace treaty; it's a ceasefire.
No, but you
We
said you
ain't
don't
ceased
want
the
a peace
goddamn
treaty.
thing, as I stated.
You said you don't want a peace treaty.
Well, it's a ceasefire. There's a difference.
So you're asking for
difference.
you're asking for Putin light in the United States of America. What the fuck?
Well, look at North Korea. Are we still at war? Well, put it this way. Make it more simple for you guys. Has there been a peace treaty signed by North Korea? It has not. It's only been a ceasefire. We're still at war with North Korea.
Why
It's the same
would
line. It's the same line of
why would a
bullshit here with
dictator
Ukraine.
why would a dictator sign a peace treaty if he was insulted by the president of the United States of America
It's not a
and
peace
threatened to
treaty.
aim missiles in our
It's
direction?
It's a
Why
ceasefire.
would he cease fire if he's being insulted and
The
threatening to aim
survivor
missiles at
is
the White House? This is
it's the
ridiculous.
survival. It's the
Oh
survival
my
of
gosh.
Ukraine. It's the same
Ma-
thing with North Korea. They are in range with LA and
Oh
Hawaii right
gosh.
now. You know that, right? You know that. Has there ever been a peace treaty with the regime of North Korea? There's never been any type of declaration of peace. It's only been a ceasefire
Why
for the past
would
60
that be
years.
the expectation from a dick? Yeah, never fucking mind.
So that
Well, it's North
ceasefire. Hold
Korea.
on.
Well,
Hold on.
North
That
Korea is a
ceasefire has been in
communist
place.
dictator, aren't they? I mean, come on,
That
guys.
that ceasefire has been in place since the 1950s, by the way. So we can say like 70 some years later, it's still enduring.
Right.
So
It's never been a
so
peace treaty.
yeah. So even a ceasefire can endure.
Right, and this is what we
That's what
want
he's
in
saying.
Ukraine. This is what we want in Ukraine. It's a ceasefire, key word. Obviously, they're going to still be at war. We'll be a border within a border. Because right now, the Ukrainian government, the army, is practically wiped out almost. They don't have enough soldiers. They don't have enough equipment. Russia has suffered a lot of severe losses. They lost over a million.
Hey, whoever's making that noise,
But they're
stop.
still
Hold on.
winning
Hold on.
overall.
Hold on. Whoever keeps like your phone or something is rubbing against something, you got to stop that. I don't know who's doing that.
Oh, that might be against my jacket. I'm sorry. I'll mute up.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
think it was
not
on
me.
purpose, but it's a lot of people. It's
Yeah.
just That's what I said. If you're not talking, just be on mute, please, if you can. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, just to land my plane on this, we gave Putin plenty of opportunities to find a solution. We told Ukraine this and that. We told Russia this and that. Right now, Russia's giving us nothing but poison pills. Putin's not listening. He's not cooperating. Despite we got him to the table, we got him negotiating with us. He's still not cooperating. He says, "Well, I want Ukraine demilitarized. I don't want NATO to be part of you." He's giving us nothing but poison pills right now.
Are you? You're literally giving us Russian propaganda out of your mouth. You are Russian propagandizing.
What is
Do you
your
live on
solution
Little
right now?
Diomede
Wait,
by
wait,
chance?
hold on.
Like, do you
All right. Hold on, guys. One at a time.
How do you get Putin to sign the deal? What is your plan? I'm listening. What is your plan for get this man
Okay, so
to
yeah,
sign a deal?
either Corey or Buzzy can respond. Whoever, just one at a time.
Fuzzy, all you. I'm sorry. All you.
No, because at this point, I'm starting to suspect Buddy lives on Little Diomede Island. Corey, go ahead.
Go ahead, Corey.
Listen,
Corey, you got it. You got it, man.
man. But no, let's be clear about this first, because you said a lot of stuff. First and foremost, Crimea was not taken by Russian separatists. It was taken by Russian special forces. Second of all, Ukraine is
Ukrainians.
Ukraine just took, within the past few weeks, significant territory back from Russia. Russia has consistently been lying about their status from this war for the longest time. So do you know what we do? We do what we've been doing. We keep supplying the Ukrainian military with arms and training, and we allow them to maintain their sovereignty. It's not about a ceasefire. It is about a country that we have a treaty obligation to, maintaining its sovereignty from an illegal war started by a foreign aggressor in Russia.
Okay. So what does a Ukrainian victory look like right now? I support Ukraine. Don't get me wrong. I do. I mean, at the same time, this is a war they cannot win. And that's the way I see it right now.
And yet they're doing it. It was estimated they would lose the war within a few weeks. What is it, 3 years ago?
I know.
It's been
Russia's
years, yeah.
army's embarrassing. I know.
Russia is quite literally, like you say that Ukraine is out of troops. Actually, they are recruiting people and they have a draft now, yeah. But Russia is quite literally conscripting soldiers now because nobody wants to join it and because they are dying in droves. Thousands of lives on the Russian side a day because they cannot take territory. And because in a modern conventional war, Ukraine is coming out better. They are fighting a defensive war, and a victory for them is Russian withdrawal. This entire idea that, they can't win. Yes, they can, because they've been doing it for 2 years now.
There's been a lot of Russian.
So we'll just continue to pour more money into this army then.
But what Corey said was correct. I just want to be able to just state that. So they have suffered 1.2 million casualties, which is more than any major power in any war since World War II. So it's a lot. I just want to make that clear.
I saw the list. Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, are you honestly for sure Ukraine can take back all its territory from Russia? Because there's been a lot of mixed reports, and right
I
now,
don't.
Ukraine just doesn't have the army to do it. I mean, I do agree the Russian army is useless.
I don't know
I mean,
that the
they're right
goal
next
is take
door,
back.
but
I think the goal is to just get them to retreat, which they have been doing progressively. That is the win for them. Take back, maybe not possible, and even still, is that land even inhabitable, right? So I don't think take back is the goal. I think the goal is to just get them to leave them the fuck alone.
Exactly.
I don't
Like
think
the same way
Putin's not going to listen.
well,
He's not going to listen.
the same way that the same way that the Vietnamese beat the United States, or Afghanistan or the Taliban beat the United States,
Sure.
or so many other wars are won by after the aggressor simply retreats. They maintain their territory through holding the line and finally just crushing the will to go to war by the Russians,
Sure.
which they've been doing successfully.
Okay.
Ukraine has
Well,
not
right now,
really
I
lost any
just
land, though. Like it looks like from when I say 1.5% of Ukrainian
Yeah, it
territory
does seem very
has been,
minimal. I guess we.
which is like,
what about the
I mean, it's
Donbass
essentially
and
nothing.
Crimea?
Essentially nothing.
What about Donbass and
We're,
Crimea? You
well,
think
no,
they'll be able to
I'm
take
talking
that
since
back?
the start of 2024. I'm just saying that they're moving
Well, I know.
incredibly
I'm
slow.
just saying,
Russia is.
right. But
Not to
they're
mention
still
their
slowly gaining at the
economy.
same
I
time.
don't mean to keep cutting you off. I apologize. Their economy is
No, you're
also
good.
slowing quite a bit. Their manufacturing is declining. The economic growth slowed to 0.6% in 2025. So, anyways, they have a lot of issues going on, and very well, they very well could retreat.
Well, I mean, right now they're having trade with China and India right now. I mean, Modi just kind of gave them a big discount, but well, Putin gave Modi a big discount. Sorry. I mean, and China has been pretty much opening their doors. Also, they've been getting a lot of rearmaments and supplies from Iran, with their drones and ammunition. Even North Korea sent a lot of their soldiers into Europe, which they've been very little effect. They're useless as anyway. But nevertheless, I mean, I give a lot of respect to Ukrainians. Trust me, I support our American allies between Taiwan, Israel, and Ukraine. I mean, they have a right to defend themselves. But in my intentions, just to survive to fight another day, this is pretty much all I'm saying. I mean, I don't think Ukraine's going to be able to hold back Russia forever, and Putin's not listening. The guy's a madman, and he has nukes. I mean, if you pour him too much in the corner, people are worried he might use them. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. So at this point, the only thing we could do is, they continue to supplying Ukraine whatever equipment they need to hold back the Russians. But at that point, I think they're still losing more they can gain at this point. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why there needs to be a ceasefire.
We'll have to see, but again, that doesn't seem to necessarily be the case. But we'll have to see how things play out. I am wondering though why there are a lot of Trump supporters who seem to almost be supporting Russia. I look back in the comments on the Tube because I'm streaming there as well. Many, and I know this doesn't speak for you, but there are many that are seems to be just very much supporting Russia, which is odd to me. That anybody in America.
Well, yeah, I mean,
To be fair, I think it stems from a conspiracy that some of them have that Trump is working with Putin in some kind of way to take back America. At first, I thought this was a wild thought, and then I remembered the whole situation about that airport in Texas and how the president was going to come back from dead. So they made sure that any thought process could be possible in this. But yeah, some of them do genuinely believe that Donald Trump is working with Putin and is going to take back America, and Putin is going to aid him. It's a weird process.
Well,
Definitely a rabbit hole.
I believe the quite opposite. I think he's been very tough with Putin. In fact, he actually just pretty much exiled a lot of Russian diplomats during his first term. In fact, actually, even that Mueller report, there was insufficient evidence of him even colluding with him. So really, quite the opposite. Actually, he's been really tough with Russia. That's why Putin stepped back. I mean, he could have gone in a lot sooner, but considering that disaster withdrawal we did in Afghanistan, he said, all right, I'm going into Ukraine. If he said it himself, special operation, long-awaited decision.
But didn't Trump
He
say...
hasn't done
Hillary,
anything.
he could have gone a lot sooner, but we had Trump, he backed off. So.
Didn't Trump say he would end the war, not even on day one of being in office, after being elected? He said he would end the war.
I know.
But beyond
we got him to the table. We got Putin to the table, but like I said earlier, he's not listening. That's the problem. At least we got him to the table. Biden couldn't even do that. I mean, Putin was ignoring him the whole time.
Okay, so personally, there is no bringing to the table. For him to get him to the table, there was also some sort of friendship that was established there that is questionable in nature because of the position that Donald Trump holds in the United States of America. Regardless of how you feel, his relationship with Putin, very questionable, and it's been called into question many times over. On the opposite side of that, if being tough on Putin is quite literally just pretending he doesn't exist, then he's definitely doing a good job at that. He only mentions it when somebody asks him a question. He treats Putin like that Raggedy Ann doll everybody's elder has in their home that they pretend to not see when they think it moved.
I don't think that's a fair assessment because we can look at it as that he is actually engaging in dialogue and they are having conversations. So that is a known, that's established. They met in Alaska, met several other times. You can go through public logs. There was not one phone call from the office during Biden's administration, not one phone call from the White House to Putin or over there in attempts to negotiate. There was none.
There's a reason for that, actually. There's a lot of things I need to say real quick. Because first of all, MC, it's very obvious you never read the Mueller report. B, like, we literally have it released not just a couple of days ago. Leaked communications between Russians where they are laughing about Donald Trump because of how easy he is to be manipulated by Putin. Like, literally, it's not that he's afraid of Trump. It's that Trump can be easily manipulated by Putin, and the Russians know this, and they've used it to great effect numerous times. So,
but there's never been any evidence of him colluding with them. For 3 years, I've heard it.
That's the the Mueller report, where quite literally people went to prison who were part of the Trump campaign because of their collusion with Russia.
It had nothing to do with Russia. It had something to do with something else. But anyway.
Literally did.
No, that's.
But then also to answer the question of Biden, answer the question of the Biden administration and them not meeting with Putin, that was a part of the whole strategy. They decided to isolate. They decided that isolationism was the best way to handle it by isolating Russia internationally.
They weren't isolated, by the way, and they made no efforts or no attempts. And it was actually Trump who convinced the EU to quit purchasing things and buying all that energy from Russia. So, I'm going to say Biden's administration, absolute lame duck when it came into Russia. Yes, they were giving Ukraine, weapons, equipment, and money. However, when it came into intervention to try to prevent it or stop it, they did absolutely nothing.
So let's be clear about this. The fact that Ukraine is still a sovereign state 3 years into the war is directly because of the Biden administration and their effective assistance of Ukraine. The reason why no peace deal was met is because Putin refused to work with the United States under a president that he could not manipulate.
And also, the Biden administration implemented sanctions. Wait a minute. The Biden administration's implemented sanctions that froze assets in Russia. They'd also banned the imports of Russian oil and gas and targeted their shadow fleets. On the opposite side of that, yes, you're correct. They provided over $100 billion in security assistance to Ukraine in advancing their missile systems. And then, as far as access to technology.
Somebody background noise. I know. Somebody background noise.
Access to technology, they also hindered that. They tightened control on their production and they curbed their revenue. They did a lot to Russia, and Corey is correct. The reason why Ukraine is still standing is largely because of the Biden administration.
Well, I mean, we got NATO. I mean, really, in a way, we got NATO finally to pay their fair share thanks to Trump's pressure. But at the same time, Putin could have came in a lot sooner. I say technically, he was already in Ukraine in 2013. He could have carried on. Why did he stop?
Guys, thanks for helping reach the gift goal. I took him. Sorry. Okay. I appreciate everybody for reaching the gift goal. You guys are the best. Thank you. Go ahead, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I mean, so really, that's why leadership strength matters. And as soon as Trump won in 2016, we had a lot more respect on the global stage. In fact, Putin. Why?
No, we didn't.
If we weren't, if Putin was,
how does one measure that?
Putin was such a puppet with Trump, he would have gone in there right away. Why did he wait?
MC, hold on. This is how I know you never read the Mueller report.
12 years.
This is how I know you never read the Mueller report. Because quite literally, one of the things discussed between members of the Trump campaign and Russian agents was that they would help support Trump because he would not take a stance against Putin in Ukraine. The reason why Putin did not need to send troops into Ukraine when Trump was the president is because he knew he would not need to.
That doesn't make any sense. So why go? Just go in then. Why wait? Why
because
wait?
they didn't need to. They had
because he knew what the response was going to be. Trump came out in 2018 at the UN, told Europe to stop buying Russian oil and energy.
You mean when they laughed in his face?
Yeah, because he was right. Putin was an aggressor. Even if you go back to 2012, the question was asked between Obama and Mitt Romney, which was more of a threat. Mitt Romney said Russia. Obama laughed. So Russia, the Republicans have been very loud and clear about the hostile activity from Russia. They went into Georgia in 2008, what they did in Kazakhstan and other places, and the Chechens. For 20 years, we know what Putin's capability was. We all knew the guy was losing his mind, but we didn't know he was going to go. He didn't know we didn't expect him to go that extreme because of our oil and gas skills we have with him. But he went over there anyway.
And see, did you know that? Are you aware that the Obama administration opened up intelligence sharing ties with the Ukrainians, and those ties had to be cut by the CIA after Trump got elected because of his pro-Russian stances and his obvious manipulation by the Russian government? This is stuff we know. So everything you're saying,
did a terrible job with intelligence.
That's allegations and conjecture, not based in any single fact. Go ahead, try again, bud.
And the leaks with the NSA, with Edward Snowden, Obama's been terrible with that. How much classified information got leaked out under his watch? So it's
I like how none of that.
Yeah, let's not forget about the Mr. WikiLeaks, right?
But you're not responding to what Corey said. Corey, go ahead and restate what you said so you can respond to that.
By the way, we also have literally leaked documents from Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, where he talked about how he's a partisan hack who wants to get Trump elected because he thought that Hillary Clinton was unqualified. Fucking hell, Julian Assange, who by the way is remarkably is known for having worked with Russia. It just so happens that a bunch of people who are known.
Obviously, he worked with Russia. What do you think Snowden fled to?
So why exactly is it that so many people who worked with Russia also worked so hard to get Donald Trump elected? Just out of curiosity.
As I said, everyone's going to have backdoor deals, but really at the end of the day, these people who exposed to the Russians were non-American. They are traitors, But a lot of people on the left, a lot of people were praising them, saying you gave out.
You're avoiding answering this question.
Info. What about Hillary's emails? We won't talk about that, right? You want to talk about?
He said the thing. He said the meme, guys. He said the meme. Her emails.
What about her
emails?
I got some dirt on you too, man.
Guys, her emails are so awful, but Trump being implicated in raping fucking children, that's cool.
You were spying at him at the Trump Tower in 2015. You guys didn't got shit on him. For 3 years, I had to listen to this crap, and there was nothing out.
Okay, great. You're supporting.
Okay,
great. If you want to put a weight onto emails, again, there's heavy implications that he raped children.
3-year investigation.
Can you acknowledge the weight of what I'm saying? Raping children.
Oh, I hear it.
Raping children. Does that mean anything to you?
The e-files are still under investigation.
What?
Okay, well, what we can prove is that he is a rapist. He has been charged with that, and he does have to pay a woman lots of money for that.
First off,
he did great.
Sexual assault.
That said, and the judge did state
that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
The judge did state that he did, in fact, rape that woman. And the only reason why they could not take it to that trial the way that they wanted to is because she could not tell whether or not he used the appendage in his pants or he used his finger. And in the state of New York, you have to use the appendage in your pants to get that charge. I'm so glad we had this talk.
And I want to make it incredibly clear. I want to make it incredibly clear that when you say the sexual assault case was just civil, that doesn't change the fact that it was sexual assault. That's such a gross thing to say.
It really is. It also doesn't change the fact that one of the reasons why he lost, and he had a very easy way to prove that he didn't do anything. He could have submitted his DNA.
Yes, for 2 years. 2 years he had.
He refused to do so, and then after the deadline, he then tried to make a faux effort, where he's oh, actually, I'll do it now, guys. When it was oh, no, we moved the court case on past you because you decided to not work with us. So, I'm sorry, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, probably is a rapist. Just gonna throw that out there.
And is still making questionable statements about
was
women.
using-
Still does.
Yeah.
Yes,
United
still
States hockey
does.
team. Ridiculous.
I mean, he used his best advice from his attorneys, but over history, before he amounts presidency, I mean, the majority of his business, his majority of his cabinet were women. The woman who built the Trump Tower, she was the head of engineers and all that. I mean,
Are you? I don't
also,
get what you're trying to say.
I mean, all this time, he never had any issues until he made.
Yeah, well, yes, he did. Hold on.
all
He's
this
had
came out.
20 plus sexual assault allegations against him over the years. Why hasn't he tried
And
to
he's
sue?
settled out several cases. He's paid
Why-
lots of money.
MC, can you acknowledge that he's had like 20, I think it's 26, 27 of them? What about
I'm
that?
sure he did.
It's
Okay,
27
but
of them,
hold on.
and he's
He
paid out
always
lots of money.
He always sues people for defamation when they say something. How come he hasn't done that to any of them? Explain that. Is
have
it
no idea.
is it
You know?
possible that he just does very harmful and inappropriate things to women and girls
Well, like
sometimes? Is that a possibility?
Like any other court case, you got the evidence, you got the proof, then you present it, then you argue your case.
But when
He
it is
obviously has
proven,
an
you don't
army of
acknowledge
lawyers.
it. When it is proven, you
Well,
don't
it was
acknowledge
a
it.
civil case. I mean,
That
He
doesn't-
settles
hold on,
out of the
hold on.
cases. They go to court. He
That
settles.
doesn't change.
She
Hold on.
accepted
Are you
it,
married,
didn't she?
MC? Are you married, or do you have a girlfriend or spouse or anything like that?
I have my fair share of relationships.
Okay, whatever. You
Are
you
they
have a
consensual?
you have a mom. You have a mom. You have a sister.
Sounded
Okay,
very
it-
doggish.
If your significant other, mom, sister, etc., was raped by a man, and it was just found in civil, like it was a civil case that it was settled in, does that change the fact that your whoever this is in a situation got raped? They got
I mean,
raped
we all want
either
the full
way.
truth. I mean,
But what you were trying
I
to
get it.
say is
I
you're
want
trying to
the full
minimize
truth,
it.
but,
You're trying to say that
apparently there is
it
a
didn't
lot
ha-
of there's a lot of women out there do lie. There's a lot of women out there want to get money.
But hold on, but
there's people who lost their
Statistically, there are
career.
not a lot of women that
There's
lie.
Hold on. Hold on.
Statistically.
Let's go by the
Lose their
percentages.
careers.
Let's go by the percentages. There's a non-zero percent. Hold on. I agree. There's a non-zero percent. We have found it's roughly in the single digits. I forget what it was. It was like 4, 5, 6%. So let's say let's actually round up to 10%. 10% of them were making it up. That still leaves 2 to 3, or that's only 2 to 3. What about the remaining 20 something? So
So
don't.
again, that's why
But you're.
facts and proof
but-
matters.
I know, but what I'm trying to say
That's how
is
the
that
courts work.
you are
That's how
justified.
courts work,
I
you
know,
know?
but when the court cases are settled, you still don't like it.
Well, whatever it is, what it is. I'm not going to.
No, it's not, because when he's found liable for rape,
You've been
you just
disputing it. You
you just
don't.
say it's
You
not.
have a problem with the system, you take it up with the system. I mean, again, it's a court system. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. You provide the evidence.
But when
and the
he
proof,
is
and that's
found
it.
guilty, you don't
I mean,
care. When he's found
on
guilty for
civil
fraud, you don't care.
cases.
That doesn't change the fact that he did it.
Okay.
It still had to be proven in court. He still had to testify. He still had things he could have done to prove his own innocence. And for all the times he settles, settling is an admission of guilt to something. He has the
Right.
money. Why didn't he take that shit to trial if he didn't do it?
Well, that's something you got to take up with the victim. So I mean, if it was
But
really
you're
damning,
trying
you
to
take it-
justify.
You take it to the
MC,
next
you
level.
just said take it up with the victim. You don't believe the victims. Hold a fucking consistent.
If
you're
it
gonna
was
be a
that
piece of
bad,
shit,
you
at least
take
be
it. If it was that bad, you take it to the next level. You don't just like, oh, I'll take your money.
Wait,
and
wait,
don't
wait.
worry
hold on.
about it.
MC, one of his victims did. One of his victims did take it to the next level,
It's
and you don't
questionable.
believe her.
If
You
it
don't
was
believe
that,
her.
but if it was,
No,
I
this is
believe
just proving
everyone's
that you won't
case.
fucking listen.
No, you don't.
Said,
No, you don't.
I just said every case matters. Like
except
even with
for when they actually affect Donald Trump. Except for when they show in a civil suit that he is reasonably sexually assaulted a woman.
Did she accept the settlement deal or not?
What?
What does
Did she
that
accept the
matter?
deal or not?
You are
It
trying
does
to.
matter.
She won the civil suit, my guy.
And-
He
and-
still,
okay.
in a
And-
court of
and-
law,
MC.
was demonstrated to have sexually assaulted a woman. What the fuck else does it take from you?
You are upholding great
Okay.
culture right now, MC. You're
Not really.
yes, you are. Your nonchalant
You
attitude.
support the Clintons. You
You're
support Bill. That's fine.
No, I don't. No, shut the fuck
Bill
up.
Clinton's a piece
Shut the
of
fuck
shit,
up.
too.
Yeah,
You didn't care
listen,
about the
dude.
Bill's a piece
hold
of
on.
shit, too.
MC,
What are we
hold on. MC, you need to be quiet for a second. You are upholding great culture, like in real fucking time. You are just
No, I'm
stop
not.
it. Stop it. You are minimizing
Facts
every
matter.
goddamn thing that we're talking about. When he's found when he's found liable for sexual assault, it doesn't matter to you. When 20-something of them make accusation of sexual assault, doesn't matter to you. When many of them are fucking trying to
Does
talk to
matter.
Pam Bondi, right,
I'm
about the
laying
things in
out the
Epstein
facts.
files, you don't give a shit. I don't care if it's fucking Bill Clinton or whoever. Bill Clinton did some not good things. And I don't care that there's a
Okay.
D next to his name. That doesn't make it better. But what you're trying to do with Trump is that you like him. Therefore, if he does something bad, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not doing that with Clinton.
Well, we
Rape is
won't.
rape is rape.
I've
Well, you
never
don't.
heard, and
You
honestly,
don't
this
care
is the
about the
bullshit that I'm
victims.
tired of.
Most of
I've
I know.
never heard
Obama's
I know.
anyone say that.
administration, his
I know.
lawyer's been arrested.
Here's the bullshit that I'm tired
I
of.
mean, they're
Nobody's
all
ever
on the
claimed that
files.
Clinton's a good man. Nobody's ever claimed that
Okay,
Clinton is a good man. No one's also ever
We're not.
claimed that
We're
Hillary
not. Yeah.
Clinton was a good woman.
but
Like,
you
I've
let
never
her
heard
run in
anybody make that
2016.
claim in this
But you let
conversation
her run in
specifically.
2016, though. But you guys were supporting her in 2016. Not
Oh
one
my
time
God,
you guys complained about it.
Clinton did, hold on,
You're
Hillary
just
Clinton.
looking. You're
Who
just
did
looking
Hillary
for
Clinton? Hey,
excuses to
MC,
bash Trump. I
MC,
get it.
who did Hillary Clinton
I don't
rape or
have to
sexually
look for
assault?
excuses.
Okay, but you supported her.
MC,
You guys
who
were
She
did-
didn't
protesting.
rape or sexually assault anyone. Did I believe with her politics 100%? No. Do I think that you should agree with any politician's politics 100%? No.
Well,
And if you do find yourself 100% agreeing with the politician's politics, you need to look in the mirror and reassess your own thought processes. I don't give a
yeah.
damn what side you're on. There's no
You guys
politician you
don't
should be
care about
agreeing with
victims.
100%.
Don't
Really?
lecture me about
Really?
victims if you guys
And on
don't
the
care.
This
opposite side of
projecting
that,
is fucking
You
wild.
don't care about victims.
you're just
You
mad
don't
that
care
you
Prove it.
about
Prove
got
it.
called
Prove
out
it,
for
MC.
supporting grape
You don't
culture.
care about victims.
MC, prove
You
Why
it.
did
don't care
Biden
Prove
about
it.
release the files 4 years ago?
You don't care about
You
victims. You
had the
quite literally
majority.
just sat your happy ass
Okay,
up
so now
here.
we're
You,
That
You quite
doesn't.
literally just sat your happy ass up
you
here
guys are crashing out.
disparaging
We're done.
MC.
victims.
Hold
I
on,
don't have to
MC.
crash out. I'm just
Help me out.
talking. You're the one yelling.
He just
You got
ran.
the
He
testosterone, not
ran.
me.
He ran because he
What
fucking.
a piece
He's a
of
shitty
shit.
person upholding grave culture. That's exactly what he's
Yeah.
fucking.
All right. Doug, thanks for having me up. I gotta
Yeah.
head out. You guys have a wonderful night.
Hey guys,
Ozzy,
give
good to meet you.
give Corey
Good to
a
meet you,
follow.
Corey.
Give Corey a follow, okay, guys?
I followed Corey off the strength of Jug's mustache.
All right, Corey, take care. What's Crustwell doing? Is Crustwell here or not? I don't know what's going on. Anyways, guys, keep tapping and sharing. But yeah, guys, Corey, he does his own lives. I don't know if he just started or not, but I watch some of his lives. So you guys obviously heard him. I think he has great stuff to say. So, but anyways, if you voted for Trump, please hit the request button. MC, I don't know why you ran away. That's weird. What you were doing was you were justifying all of these goddamn awful things, and then you projected upon us to say that we were crashing out, and then you just ran. Goddamn fucking convenient, huh?
And what I will say is, at least in these conversations that I've been having, and I've had these conversations in front of thousands of people, and at this point talked to thousands of people about this, no one has ever said that they thought Clinton was a good man. Now, what people do say about Clinton is that he was a good president, which factually is accurate as fuck.
Absolutely.
If you look at his presidential track record, that is accurate, but that does not mean he's a good person. It does not mean he's something that you would support in office again. Like, that's quite literally. And the other thing is, he can't run again.
There is that too, yes. But again, this highlights the problem that they once again think that we look at quote unquote our politicians the same way that they do as Trump. They view Trump as somebody who can never do any wrong, right? He can't have any criticism towards him. He does everything right, and they think that we do that with like Clinton, for example, right? But we don't. We don't. We acknowledge the shitty things that he has done sexually and whatever the fuck else he may have done. Who knows? But I'm not defending him.
Clinton was a horrible man that was great at math.
All right, I got to change the. Okay, what's the phone number, David? No, never mind. I got it. 603-887. Okay, I'm good. All right, guys. Again, if you are enjoying the live, sorry, I was just trying to put the phone number here for people to call in on the tube. Oh gosh, that looks weird. Why is it all? I don't know why it does this. This is so annoying. Like, it looks slanted. I didn't type it in slanted like that.
Miguel, that is correct. They see themselves in Trump and they envy his lifestyle. Miguel, I will say,
Well, that's
out
it
of the
too.
thousands of
Yeah.
people I have talked to over the years about this, a lot of them place very specific emphasis on Donald Trump's wealth, as if him having wealth absolves him from the potential of being a shitty person. It's the same, or the same thing you could be said about religious people, right? Having a religion or actively practicing a religion does not absolve you of potentially being a shitty human being. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have all these Catholic priests going to jail, right? And so, yeah, I agree. There are people that see his wealth and they think that automatically makes him an A1 person.
Which is odd. I find it very odd that somebody would just automatically assume somebody's a good person because they have money. In fact, you should probably view it the other way, if anything. All right, got this thing on screen. Again, guys, if you want to call in on the tube, we got the number here on screen. I'll make it bigger for you, because I can't fucking see it, so there's no way that you can. All right, there we go. I think that's good. Maybe.
And Miguel, anecdotally, I will offer that majority of the people that seem to hold this belief are the MAGA men. The MAGA women, for whatever reason, takes the stance that they are being lied to about something. And I don't know, part of me thinks this has something to do with the research conducted about the content that their husbands potentially consume when they are around, and the fact that they default to their husbands.
Yeah.
Which is another
Well,
conversation
sure.
to be had.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But we'll never know the truth of that because these are people in their homes, right? We do know that there are a lot of women in relationships with conservative men that get their vote taken away from them by way of them filling out ballots and whatever else. So, yeah.
Mr. Husami? Wait, are you the same guy that was in here before? Are you really just living in my live stream? That's a little creepy. So it's definitely psych major. I wonder who that might be. They seem to really dislike psych majors, people on the right, for some reason. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, people on the right, tell me your grievances with psych majors. What's the issue with that? You're likely going to say they're useless to society, it's a fake major. I'm sure you're going to say something along those lines. But yeah, guys, the phone number is there on top, so please do call in if you're on the tube. I guess on TikTok you can as well, but there's an invite button there, so no need to. They hate most college educations. That's true. They just seem to dislike college in general because it makes people smarter. Well, hold on. It doesn't make people smarter. It's just that people who are smart tend to go to college and get and go beyond, right? So. And they think the information that is learned there is liberal, or just maybe
and we see
sometimes.
that in Florida. Actually, Florida launched a campaign about trying to weed out wokeism in colleges for anybody that is actively in a public college, public specifically, because they can't really do anything about private institutions. If you are in a public college in the state of Florida, a lot of you have probably received emails asking about the freedom of choice and if you feel like you're having some sort of impart upon bias in your education system. And this is in college, by the way.
We'll keep tapping and sharing,
They're
guys.
asking college students if they're being indoctrined.
Guys, we should be well above 40K. You guys disappoint me with the likes sometimes. I'll be completely honest about that. I'm disappointed. I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed. We can do better with the likes. There are times you guys are very motivated with the likes. Like, there's been times we've gotten over 200K, but other times it's, I don't know, guys. There's going to be a punishment of sorts. It is indoctrinating the youth into learning. God forbid we learn, guys. Learning is bad. Never learn. Mr. Husami, why are you still here? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. To Patty's point, that Patty said that statistically liberals are more formally educated. That is true, but there's a reason for that. It's not because of indoctrination in colleges, like these people would lead you to believe. It's actually because when you go to college, you're on a campus of diverse origins with people from different corners of the United States of America that have different perspectives. You come together, you meet, you have conversation, you spend time together. Naturally, the engagements with someone outside of the bubble you grew up in changes your perspective because you realize the things that you have been taught to believe in most cases are not true. And even if there are some truths to stereotypes and semantics, you know that it is not the whole and it is not a definitive.
Yes, agreed. Whatever Buzzy said. Somebody mentioned in the comments of the tube that every Democratic president has lowered the deficit, which is true. And I'm going to see if I can pull that up, actually. I showed it to you guys before, but it doesn't hurt to see it again if I don't know.
Yeah, quite literally, I don't care what you
Here
go
it
to
is.
college for. Hell, you could go to underwater basket weaving class. There is at least one college in the United States of America that does have that as an elective class. I don't know that you can get a degree in it, but you can take the class for funsies. You could go there for underwater basket weaving. It has nothing to do with what educational route you're taking in college. It's all about the exposure to a diverse group of people and the experience of being able to sit and talk to someone. Same thing, ironically, about people in the military. Diversity in experiences shapes the viewpoints of the military. Majority of the people in the United States military are not conservative.
Buzzy,
Evidence based by the higher ups.
I have something very disappointing to tell you. Somebody in the tube said you sound like Candace Owens. I'm sorry to tell you that.
I'm gonna hold my commentary in.
I'm so sorry to tell you.
Whoo.
That was probably one of the worst
We're
news.
good. No, we're good. No, it's fine. No, you know what?
That's funny.
Wow.
All right, guys. Here's the deficit track. Can you guys see this, or is it too small? It's probably a little too small. Let's try to make it bigger so you guys can see. Here, let's do this. Remember, guys, you can call in on the tube. All right, that's all you really need to see. So let's go through it really quickly, just so you guys can see. So this is the federal deficit, just to give and I'm not talking down to anybody by any means. I know sometimes people confuse the deficit with the debt, right? There are two different things. The debt, for example, let's just use a nice little example to make it easier. If I don't know, you spent $50 in a year, but you made only $40. The debt, you have $10 now in debt, right? We'll say, for example, and then the next year you do the same, then the deficit would be what is added on to it, right? So you can have a surplus where it gets taken away, or a deficit where it's added on to it, and debt is then the total thing. So as you can see over here, we pretty much had a steady line. Like, we weren't really at a surplus. We weren't necessarily really at a deficit for the longest time. And we're talking about the federal deficit or surplus, really until Reagan. That's when we saw massive fucking spending combined with massive tax cuts, right? Which leads to us spending more than we take in, right? Leads to this, what we see down over here, the first big dip. So just to make this very easy for you guys, lower on the chart is worse, upper on the chart is better. Okay, upper means that you're spending less than you make. Lower on the chart means spending more than you make. Okay, now when we see
Donald Trump's administrator reported on this. This is true.
Good. So when Clinton came into office, he actually started lowering the deficit, right? And we actually got to a surplus. And that was the last time we were at a surplus. You guys see it over
Remember,
here.
bad man, good at math. Bad man, great at math.
Right. Now we have Bush come in, Bush Jr., and all of a sudden we get down to over here where he ends up in 2009. Low. Not good. Then Obama ends here, which is higher than that lower point. So again, another Democrat president lowered the deficit. And then we have Trump come on in. Here, he raised the deficit, and then Biden ended up here, higher up, okay? So ever since Reagan, every Democrat president has lowered the deficit. They've gone higher on the chart, while every Republican president has raised the deficit, going lower on the chart. I hope I explained that in the most kindergarten way possible. Again, not
Don't
trying to
let
talk
this
down that very...
distract you from Don't let this distract you from having very strong, very valid feelings towards Ronald Reagan.
Oh, no, please, have them.
Simmer.
Please, yeah.
Simmer on your thoughts. Make sure that your disdain remains strong in the right direction.
Yeah, no, please.
Maths are hard. No, it is true though. Like Clinton was a terrible man, but he was great at math. Then you got a man that really didn't give a fuck about math, nor being great. He was just doing sketchy stuff and getting away with it. And then he handed an active recession in which he told nobody about, and he had to fix it. He was better at math, actually pretty damn good at math, and holding it in a road, did that very well. And then we put somebody in there that knew fuck all about government, and well, yeah, see how that went.
I don't know what's happening to, like, how did you guys start talking about trans people? Like, you again, guys, obsessed about trans people. You think about trans people more than trans people think about trans people. You need to get the fuck over it. All right? Like, what is it that you're talking about? Nobody on the left isn't privy to the information that you're providing here, that males and females are different. We all fucking understand that. All right? None of you guys that I speak to seem to have a good, honest understanding of what anybody on the left thinks, really with any issue, but in specific to this, trans people. You guys just don't have a good, honest understanding of the opposing argument. And so you guys go in bad faith because of that.
Logan, to your point, I do wish that one president, it doesn't matter if they're Democratic or Republican, I do wish that one president would take a journey to Clinton.
No, stop.
Integrity. Integrity, did you mean to come up?
I'm on the dog side.
Okay. Integrity, are you there?
The dog has strong
Maybe she didn't mean to come up. Guys, I'm really just sort of looking for opposition at this point.
I think the dog is right. No, I think we should have given the dog an opportunity to speak. The dog had some strong explanations, and honestly, I felt the strength in those barks. Logan, to your point, I am curious on what would happen. It doesn't matter if they're Democratic or Republican. If a president just took a visit to Clinton's presidential library to look at his fiscal planning, because essentially, if you look at it, if I was to simplify this in the most simplest of forms, what he did is he taxed companies kind of at higher rates, but made them pay their fair share in, which is what aided us in the surplus. Instead of giving them breaks, he made them pay their stake, if you will. And I do wonder what would happen if we had a president just take a little visit to Clinton's fiscal processes and applied that today just to see what would happen out of curiosity. Because arguably the companies have more money now staring at Walmart, aka Bentonville.
I'm going to fact check somebody in the comments of the Tube who said that they were paying more for diesel under Obama than now. I don't ever drive anything with diesel, so I don't know, but I am trying to fact check that because I just don't think that is right. Well, let's see. We'll see. I don't drive diesel, so I don't really know the prices, but I think we also have to have a good understanding of how much the presidents control gas prices versus not. Okay.
I don't know what prices in this economy. Why would you want diesel? Unless you are someone that lives in a rural area in like farmland, lots of dirt roads, or even in the hills of Alabama. Like, you know, if that's the kind of life you're living, I can understand.
Hold on. I'm going to pull up the diesel prices right now. All right. Like, what the fuck is going on here with the misinformation? It's just fucking wild.
Diesel is traditionally expensive anyway.
Right. It's like going up since like since the 90s. It's like we see sort of like a steady incline here. So if anything, it was on average cheaper during this time period than it is this time period over here. Like what?
My God,
What is
even
your
the
thing?
cheap version of it is expensive.
Like it was at one point, and Obama was still president here. $1.98 on average, meaning there could have been places where it was near $1 in early 2016. We saw a huge fucking dip over here, and then it just started to go up. And this was when Trump was president, by the way. So you're telling me this right here, and Trump comes in here, just up, 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 up. That's the opposite of what you said in the comments. I don't even know whose name it was, but it was the opposite of what you said. Guys, let's not say things that are incorrect, especially when it is so easy to fact check some of these things.
And I do want to say it is possible that diesel was higher in your area due to
Sure.
gas stations, like privately owned gas stations. Like it's very possible that it was higher in your area due to that, the effects of capitalism. And what we're looking at when we look at that chart is the average. Like it's very possible that that happens. Like in Florida, sometimes gas is more expensive than other places surrounding Florida just because we don't have the ability to have like that offset in Florida. We have to get all of our oil shipped into Florida.
Yeah, no, for sure. And listen, guys, I like to what Buzzy said. I don't deny, like, if you have a personal experience of you paying this or that, whatever, that's fine. But we have to talk about things on a macro scale, right? Like you getting eggs for this price or paying this for gas or that, whatever. We just need to go by a macro scale. We have to, right? So, that's something to keep in mind, that your
Correct,
personal
because
experience...
on a macro level, gas in Florida is more expensive the farther towards Key West the closer to Key West you live, because of the fact that we have to import all of the oil into Florida, or all of the gas into Florida. It has to come from elsewhere. And that being said, the cost to drive it all the way down to the farthest point, it gets more expensive.
Somebody's saying, but due to being in a blue state, I assume you're talking about the prices. Yeah, because when a lot of people are in an area, because a lot of people want to live there, yeah, demand goes up. When demand goes up, typically prices go up. That's how things work. Welcome to like economy 101. I hate to break it to you, people don't really want to live in red states. So maybe the governors, whoever, make your red states a little bit better. People will come.
I will say the most astronomical area I've seen gas be in Florida is probably Boca Raton.
Hold on, Buffy. What's Buffy coming up for? Sorry, guys, I haven't looked at Discord in a while. I know I need to. What's up? Yeah, Buffy can come up. I don't even know what it's for, but sure. So someone can invite Buffy. Is there anything said in Discord? Welcome to the 2 people who joined Discord, by the way. And again, guys, the link is in my bio. Please do join the Discord. I do announce there ahead of time when I go live. I'd love to get to 1,000 people in Discord soon, and I think we can do that. So just join. Even if you don't want to use it, just join.
I gotta ask, does anybody in here live in Boca Raton? Is Boca Raton just expensive because it's Boca?
I used to live there a long time ago when I was little, but yeah, it was...
Like when I even going down like further past Boca, I feel like gas was still more expensive in Boca. Like I think it's just because of the accessibility to wealth.
The area itself is wealthy. Buffy, I'm inviting you up. You're welcome to come up. Red states suck. Yeah, basically that was like the TLDR of what I said. Too long, didn't read. All right. Anyways, Buffy, if you're still here, I invited you up. I apologize. I'm just trying to do a million different things right now. People on the tube, remember, there's that phone number. You can call on in. I've actually had some decent phone calls with people from the tube. So for the few people that do call in, I appreciate these civil conversations we've had. Florida is expensive in general. I agree with you, Victor. Of course, yeah, it's just an expensive state.
And I wish I would have paid more attention because I saw Buffy wave at me and I said hi to her. And
I saw the emojis. Yeah, I saw the emojis too, but I
stopped looking at the comment section and walked away from my phone. I'm using my hearing aids today, so I apologize if I sound a little bit louder than usual.
There's no taxes on groceries in Florida?
What?
Somebody said there's no...
What?
I don't think...
What?
What?
Oh,
I mean, I don't... Listen, I don't necessarily look that much at the receipt when I buy stuff. I just know...
You finally stopped buying Michelinas. That is great. You're
I'm actually... I'm really
You went
good
back
with
to
money.
the Michelinas, didn't you?
What the fuck are Michelinas?
The microwavable meals.
Oh my! Right? No, I don't. No, I haven't actually.
Look, I'm so proud of you. You're not using a lot of seasonings, but look at you, growth.
I've been very good with my money.
Y'all, Doug's food tax comes from the amount of money he's spending on egregious jars of peanut butter, and
I've
that
been eating a lot
horrific
lately. I've been eating a lot.
and that
lately,
horrific
Lizzie.
yogurt he likes to eat. The horrendous non-flavored nothing. My God, nothing should carry that much protein, and Doug's yogurt has prioritized protein over flavor.
I want to let people know this is less than a week's worth of me eating into this. Needless to say,
Doug's
my
tax
acid
money in
reflux
Florida goes to peanut butter.
My acid reflux the last couple of days has been fucking unbearable. Like I have to stop eating peanut butter for now because I'm just eating way too fucking much. It's not good. It's fucking with me.
You eat peanut butter like people eat Haagen-Dazs when they're trying to take the edge off.
Somebody says I should go vegan. I appreciate anybody who has their I guess morals aligned in a way where they believe it's wrong to eat anything that is meat based. I'm sorry, I just don't feel the same way. I understand the argument. I get it. I appreciate you being able to do it, but it's just not my thing.
I was born and raised in the South. I have no commentary on what people are doing with their different levels of meat. That's just me, though. Caitlin asked what kind of yogurt. So, Caitlin, I can't remember the name of it, but we're just going to talk about Dougie's favorite snack like he's not here. It's got 30 plus grams of protein in it.
Well, no, peanut butter actually doesn't have a lot. Peanut butter doesn't have a lot of protein per calorie.
No, we're talking about your yogurt.
Oh, the yogurt's great. The yogurt's terrific, yeah.
Oh my God, look how excited he got about the yogurt. Listen, we're going to talk about Dougie's yogurt habit like Dougie's not here. It's got 30 plus grams of protein in it. Now ask yourself, if a yogurt has 30 plus grams of protein. 25. Okay. Oh, you do eat the 25. If a yogurt has 25 grams of protein in it, do you think it tastes like something, or do you think it tastes like hell and high water?
It's not. I always tell people, hey, like, go have it. It's a good protein snack, but it's not amazing by any means. I do want to address some of the
plain.
I do want to, yeah, I do, because I just need to get it over with. I need to address some of the tube comments. Again, this just shows you guys' lack of understanding and you guys just being a shitty person in general. Somebody said it's because of my hormone blockers. I assume they were talking about my acid reflux or something. You wouldn't be taking hormone blockers at my age. That's not how things work. If you would be taking hormone blockers, that would be at the age of like puberty. It just shows how little you guys know about the topic. I just like your guys' passion and hate and whatever the fuck feelings you have associated with that topic is totally mismatched by your lack of knowledge. Like it's just crazy, the lack of knowledge when it comes to
Caitlin,
that.
I agreed. Dougie's yogurt intake is a harm against himself and his taste buds. He is assailing his taste buds every opportunity he gets for the sake of being buff.
No one should use hormone blockers. Well, you're not a doctor, okay? So you don't get to determine what medications are prescribed for what. You aren't smart enough to be a doctor, honestly. You just aren't qualified enough. So hormone blockers have been used for things that have nothing to do with trans people for decades. Again, you are just exposing your lack of knowledge and your ignorance.
If you make it to Dougie's age and you are taking hormone blockers, it is safe to assume that you have other things going on. And this is specifically talking about men, simply because like birth control does other things that involves hormones and other things. But if you are a man and you're taking hormone blockers when you get to Dougie's age, there's likely something else happening that is resulting in this.
Yeah, I just... Anyways. All right. Again, guys, the phone number is on screen if you want to call on in. And TikTok, you guys can hit the request button.
Who the fuck said I sound like Candace Owens?
I don't know. Well, I can scroll back.
No, I'll let it go. No, I'll let it go.
Right,
it's
right,
fine.
yeah,
I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
I'll
I'll let it go. No, I'll let it go. No, I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
You guys are all weak for not coming up, tubers. You guys are weak, pathetic little men. That's what all of you guys are. And you guys are welcome to come up if you want to talk about trans people so much. You can come on up and we can have that conversation. It's a conversation you're going to lose, but we can have it. But if you're just up here to cause havoc, then, you know, you can stay in the comment section and do that. But you're just really going to be ignored otherwise. All right. I'm going to look at TikTok people for now because YouTubers are just weird. So I'm going to look at the TikTok comments instead. I can only look at one at a time. So now I'm back on TikTok. Plain yogurt is pretty bad, Caitlin. I agree. Plain yogurt is just not good. All the YouTubers did leave, David, probably because we were talking about fucking yogurt for too long.
Don't blame me for your misfortunes.
We now have 0 concurrent viewers on the tube. Okay, so what I am going to do is end the YouTube stream.
That was because
Mr.
you
Usami,
showed
nobody
that
cares about
peanut
you.
butter jar.
Mr.
That's
Usami,
because you
nobody cares
showed
about